Okay.
It always makes you cry.
He made my punch list.
And that was our first fight. Time is a flat circle.
Like 2 people are gonna get this.
Ooh. Love kale.
Ew. I want him to crawl to me.
Now that was spicy.
Your Honor, I love him.
Gross. Why choose means you don't choose.
I want a third act breakup because I want him to grovel.
There are exceptions to every rule.
Trust me, I'm a father. Don't worry, Daddy's got you. Welcome back to Chapter 9 of the Smut Daddy Podcast.
Hey guys,
Hi.
welcome back.
I'm your host, Father Lib, aka the Smut Daddy.
And I am Sister Britt, your co-host, and we are just 2 besties who met on Bookstagram, and now we talk every day and can't imagine life without each other.
And we love romance books. And
Love them.
today we are entering into YeeHaw territory.
This is where Father Lib shines.
Oh my gosh, wear the hat, ride the cowboy, and we have a new hat. If you've been here for the long haul since we have met on Instagram and you've been following this little friendship duo, the pink hat is the original.
She the OG.
She's the OG cowgirl hat. For our listeners only, I have a pink cowgirl hat with a feather boa rim. It's like your stereotypical bachelorette cowgirl hat, but like it is the iconic hat for these like cowboy TikToks that Britt and I do, where we dance and act a fool in them. And then we were graciously blessed with a new hat from Jessica Peterson because Cash released, and now I get to wear Cash's hat, and I'm very happy. I'm very happy about that. And now we both have hats.
Now we have hats for both.
I feel like I have finally been able to make Sister Britt read enough Cowboys that she now is like my honorary cowboyette. She gets her own hat.
I'm no longer like a freshman. I'm a sophomore.
Yeah,
now.
so
Like,
now
I
she
kind of
gets
moved
her.
up a little.
She gets her own cowboy hat. Now I feel like we're moving up. Next, we'll be like, now there'll be another one. A new hats for all.
Libby's got her doctorate, and I'm over here working my way through high school.
I do very much so love a cowboy. So today, if you're not a YeeHaw fan, then this is definitely not the episode for you. Next week is going to be Small Town, which obviously can have cowboy crossover, but this is strictly cowboy. Doesn't matter where they fall in the series. If it's a cowboy and we want to talk about it, that is what we're doing today. But next time when we are solo, call this Small Town, because how many small towns have I read? 700 small towns, like, and only 150 cowboys? Only. But we're going to start with our weekly wrap-up. We haven't really done one in a while. We've been busy, and filming's been all over the place, and we've had these amazing author interviews. So if you're like, wow, didn't you read something else? Yeah, we probably did. But this is what we're currently reading and what we're up to and what we want to discuss. So, Sister Britt, what you been loving lately?
Well, I finally have seen the end of the Arkel. That is...
Armageddon is over, folks!
She's over, and I am so glad to say goodbye to her, but I don't want to make that sound like I wasn't happy to be reading these books, and I know it's an honor to be getting an arc, so I'm happy that I had them, but there was too many.
There's always too many in October, and I'll say it every year. We'd kill ourselves to read them because we love them, but like there's always too many.
Yes. But I did just want to highlight a few. There were a lot, and
there was more than a lot.
A couple of them though were not for me, and that's okay. Not every book is for every person. But you don't know unless you give it a shot. But the ones that I have enjoyed, I did want to highlight Safe With Us by Etta Lane. It is a debut. Why choose? It's got suspense to it. We got some men who are looking to protect the FMC from a stalker, and I would
get behind that.
You probably would know the whodunit right away, but I did not know the whodunit when it was revealed. I was like, "Oh shit!" I did not see that coming.
They said it in line 5.
Right. And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense." But I was blown away. It was a debut novel. It was Why Choose Goodiness.
Standalone, or is this like a developing Why Choose story?
That is a wonderful question, Father Lib, and I think there's more to come. But there were 3 guys, 1 girl.
Swords cross?
No swords crossing.
What? No, I know it's okay.
It's all right.
If I like white shoes, swords cross. I have a white shoes I can talk about.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Good thing you started with this so I can remember.
And then we traveled back to Sutton Mountain, which we'll chat about here in a little bit. But we did Chase Our Forever. With Dean and Liv to close out that trilogy. So that was fun. Real quick read with Ready or Not with Jen Plummer.
Oh, the Halloween novella.
Daddy Wes. I was...
Whoa, did I tell you or
yes,
what?
You were so right.
I told you, like one of our first or second episodes, I was like, there's some good things coming that I can't discuss. This was it. That was one of them.
And she was right, everybody. She was right. And then we had Lena on the episode, but at that point we hadn't read just between us. But
and Veda, holy.
We've read it since.
Smoke shows, and you all know if you read it, then you read that last chapter that leads us to what now is going to be J.P. King's book. And holy shitballs on a stick, I'm so ready for all of it. But also Royal, I'm giving him his time.
I was going to say,
but
let's not overshine Royal because he's my man.
I can't just like ignore that because I'm shocked by all of it. I'm shocked by how good Royal and Veda was. I'm shocked that it's not MJ next. Everything was just shocking about it.
It was, and I was a little worried. I'm not gonna lie because
of the black cat element,
because of the black cat element. I feel like a lot of times we give that label and then it's free reign to like write a bitch, and I just don't want to read that. But that wasn't the main thing I was worried about. I was worried about that I hyped up Royal too much in my head because I felt like he's always been on my radar. I felt like a connection to him.
I think Lena said that, right? That she was worried because everyone's been hyping him up.
Everybody has been wanting Royal.
Then it was her best release of all time, which I'm just so proud of her for. It was
so good, and it was like a true golden retriever black cat. And done so well. I feel like we've got a golden retriever MMC, but the FMC is not a black cat, or we have a black cat FMC, but the MMC isn't a golden retriever.
They're too much. They're more of the same. Than, like opposites attract.
Yes. So she did it well, you guys. We got I called him the goldenest golden retriever ever, but then he was this soft dom in the bedroom. Oh my gosh! And
you want to know the exact moment? Spoiler alert! The exact moment I fell in love with him. It's pretty early on. Do you know? It's when he decided that he was going to walk right into his shop that day. And he's like, this spot on my leg, black cat. You mean the black cat that I have tattooed right here, sir? Thank you. That was the moment I was like, I do love you. Like, you're definitely ranked in the king men.
Yes,
but
for sure.
It was so early on though, too. I was like, oh, fuck.
That was really early on.
Well, because I was like, you really hit a soft spot with my cat tattoo.
But no, I enjoyed them together, like in their meet cute and the reveal. But then like the bigger overarching storyline that's been playing out the whole entire time.
Veda's chapters because we all know I love JP King, but it's because I like the story and I knew that he was going to be a large component of figuring it out because he worked so closely with Russell. So getting Veda's chapters where we got all the info, we're learning more about the company. We're learning more just about how every one of the kings moved. I really liked her. Like some days I think she's outranking Royal. Like I'm like, oh, I love her. But then I'm like, no, but he's really good. But then I'm like, oh, but I love her.
Yes. So. No, they were a great compliment in the reveals that happened. I mean, I had jaw-dropping moments multiple times throughout the book. Things going all the way back to Unlook.
The very first from Out of Towner.
Yeah. From chapter 1, I'm just like, oh, wow. Lena really outdid herself, and I loved it all, and I would wear a collar for that man.
But he would have to know his place because Dean Yenin, who is someone I'm going to talk about because we both read, that is the number one contender. I think I would say yes to Dean Yenin before Rowan Whitethorn asked to put a collar on me. Because why is Rowan Whitethorn asking to put a collar on me? Because I could put a collar on him when he's a hawk. But Dean Yenin, I'm like, yes. Literally, it's the first man I said I would wear a collar for. Because we were in heavy bully romance territory, and I was always like, interesting with the collar and like degradation. And then Dean Yenin came along, and I was like, you know what? I think that there might be something to this collar.
I understand this now.
Would very much wear that all the time in public.
Yes. So I loved it. Royal and Veda moved to the top of my king ranking list. They moved Abel and Sloan down a slot. So I loved it. I'm looking forward to JP and his story.
And MJ. Like,
and
I am,
MJ,
like, I don't want anyone to think, like, oh, because we got JP, like, I don't give a fuck anymore. Like, the whole story is wrapping up with another king female. So I'm beyond excited that
I think it's so cool how the Sullivans ended with a king female and now the Kings one with a king female as well. And I think I found the location for where we're going next.
So if you guys listen to our Lena episode, we did huge deep dives and she gave us all kinds of spoilers and little Easter eggs. And in that episode, she said that in Royal's book, there is a town mentioned that is her next small town spinoff series. And if you don't want the spoiler, skip ahead. But we think it's when they're in, I think you have the name, but there's a part where they're going to a little bar.
Yes,
for a getaway.
20 miles up the Michigan, Lake
coast.
Michigan coast.
And Lena said in our episode, we are literally Taylor Swift mastermind planning here, folks.
I found it. Do you want me to say it?
Yes, she said
Star Harbor.
Yes, so she said that the town would be up the coast and in between like Picture Rock and like where Out of Towners lying now. They mentioned the town of Star Harbor. So we hope we're right. We hope our detective hats were on. But we wouldn't, I mean, I think we would have all been like, oh, like new location unlocked. But once Lena dropped the Easter egg, we were all like, okay. Oh. I do think that's it. And I really like the couple that owns it. Mm-hmm. And I would like to see them again, honestly.
Yes. Me too. Ooh. And then the last thing I wanted to highlight, because it was a first for me, was I read Forged in Blood by Sadie Kincaid. It was my first paranormal vampire.
Which is crazy.
I know, you guys.
I have to judge you because I'm literally staring at my tattoo of Faye.
I know. I love Eric Northman.
Me too.
I have watched True Blood.
Good, because he's hot.
I have that going for me.
Right, that gained you points back.
Yes, but this was her first foray into this type of book to write. She's usually in mafia land or mafia adjacent billionaire land, but I don't have anything to compare it to, so I think it's good, but I want you to read it. But it is a wide choose.
I am going to read it just so everyone knows.
Yes,
because it's vampires and their swords crossing.
There are swords crossing in this one. Yes, so I really enjoyed it. I did not know it was a bully romance, though, going into it.
Ding, ding, ding. One of the reasons I'm definitely reading it.
And I wish I would have known going in because my mind frame would have just been a little bit different.
Oh, yeah. It definitely sets it up because, like, you were, I mean, it's not like it's light. Like,
I was getting pissed at these guys. I'm like, why are we being such assholes? I don't comprehend this.
I like bully romances because I like those mean, gruff men who have to come around. But bully romances make, like, me, like, ooh, harsh. Because, like, it's literal early 2000s bullying, folks, like degradation and public humiliation.
I was just like, what is happening? Why are we acting like this? What are we doing? And then like I was talking to our friend Claire, who also had read it. She's like, just keep going.
She's like, it's literally supposed to be this. It's a bully romance.
Yes. So in the end, I was able to recalibrate my brain mid-read and I ended up loving it. I'm really excited for the next one to come out early December. So my
mom's reading it right now, Forged in Blood.
And she's doing it with her eyeballs.
She's doing it with her eyeballs. I know this. My mom reads filthy smut, guys. If you're new here, my mom loves smut, like way filthier YeeHaw smut than I could ever read. But she's reading it right now. So I will pop in next week and let you guys know how my mom liked it. And then I am going to start reading. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it right away, but I am going to read it because 4 vampires loving on me, that is definitely a YeeHaw I would have in real life as well.
Yep. It was
Mr. Smut Daddy knows his place.
It was good. I ate it all up. I'm excited for book 2. I really enjoyed it. I felt like all 4 of the vampires had different personalities and different connections with Ophelia, the FMC, and we're learning more about who she is. She's learning who she is. Yeah. She has no clue who she is. So it's just, I was pleasantly surprised. I really didn't know what to expect. And yeah.
I like finding YeeHaws that I like, obviously, that I enjoy. So yeah. This one I think is definitely going to be up there because
it is a trilogy though. So it does.
Does it end on a cliffhanger?
It ends at like a natural stopping point, but there is more story to tell, obviously. So book 2, I believe, is slated to come out early December. And then book 3, the final one, I think, is March. Yep. Don't quote me on it, guys, but that's where I
probably
think
another
it is.
Release in between.
Yeah.
She writes obviously Mafia and everything.
Yes.
Um,
And she has book 2 of the Manhattan Ruthless series coming out in between these 2 and 3, I believe. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it was a nice read for October and spooky season.
I know, I feel like a couple things on my spooky season TBR definitely. The Armageddon killed me, folks.
Yeah,
Like,
my plan to read the Lords series and Grimstone and Monarch and There Are No Saints,
Yep.
none of it happened, you
None of
guys.
that happened because there were just too many good arcs, too many books, too much going on, and that's okay. That's okay. What did we all been buddy reading with you guys the Kingmaker series?
Yes.
So we did the Bully, love Dean Yenin forever, love Cat.
What a great redemption story.
And I think it says a lot too, because like I hated him in book 1 for reasons, obviously, but I definitely don't think I was holding him like in JP King regard. I know it's like funny because we can have that now, but like I don't think I was. Like I was very much, he sucks, you can't do that. So then when we got to his book, I swear to God, though, I was hooked by chapter 1. I was like, oh, this is a boy that has layers, folks, an onion, if you will. I was like, oh, we don't know shit about this boy and how he was raised. Everyone else had it way fucking easier than being in Russia.
I feel like Sophie just did such a great job of making you hate him.
Oh yeah, you hate him.
Making you love him.
At the end of book 1, where other people probably still hate him, that's where I was like, I know, I can see the potential, and I know we're gonna have a book for him, because clearly he's trying to apologize to Anna, and Leo's like, fuck you forever, but like I get it, but that's when I was like, okay, I see it. But yeah, to like him so quickly, and everyone was like, we love him right away. I'm like, I wasn't lying. Like, he's incredible. He's my favorite of the Kingmakers.
Of the Kingmakers, his book is number 1.
He is number 1 for me.
Yep.
Cat.
Him and Cat as a duo. Like she was something.
Oh, because, and I fell in love with her at the end of book 2. How can you literally not? But you don't know, like, when reading it, kind of anything, I guess, really. There's really not a crazy lead up. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, to when it happens. To when
Correct.
The act of why we get Kat's book. It's so like, are you actually shitting me right now? Because she's so like, I'm Kat, and I'm okay,
innocent, and I'm naive,
and so short. They always say how short she, and she's so small, and she could never be. And then you get to book 3, and you're like, this girl is fucking masterminding all of
She has a devious mind,
she
does what needs to be done.
That's why in this series, I consider her, I mean, Nyx is definitely a black cat in book 4, but like Cat gives me deceptive black cat vibes, like a literal sneaky snake black cat, because she's like, she knows that she looks so innocent and that she can play. So she plays everybody. She plays literally everybody. So when God, like Dean Yenin, goes, honey boo boo child, I saw you commit.
I know what you did.
I saw you commit a crime. Hence why she's now collared. And I was like, I'm in it. You should commit more crimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, you should probably commit more crimes to still be collared. So I know I will always talk about Dean Yenin, and I don't care. I love him. The rest of the series is obviously going good. I do really like The Spy, because I love like a mystery whodunit, and it's the most mysterious whodunit of the whole series. So
yes,
I'm in it.
I am enjoying The Spy as well.
So for our visual watchers, it has now been an hour later. We have talked to our significant others and our children. We ate KFC and now we are ready to continue. For everyone else, it's been about 5 seconds and nothing changed, but it's significantly darker.
But that popcorn chicken bowl, or whatever the hell it's called, hit the spot.
Here's the ad for you, KFC. We haven't had you in a couple years, and that was delicious. So we were talking about how you did Forged in Blood.
Yes.
And
yeah, it was a good intro, I think, for me to the genre, and I had a connection to all 4 vampires. All 4 had different personalities and different connections with Ophelia, the FMC, and she is learning more about herself. We are learning about her as she's learning. She's not a simple human, you guys. So it's been good. But
okay, for our
We're back for the 5th time.
For our visual watchers, this is not the 18th time we have recorded this because we have had family members calling us and children needing to say goodnight, and we ate and technical difficulties, and here we fucking are. Jesus, take the wheel.
This is the last time, you guys.
Woo! So, our audio listeners are like, not one thing changed. Good, but
just know you missed a ride, okay?
Holy bananas.
The sun has set.
I'm like, we started this with sunlight shining on our faces, and now there's not.
Oh, it's kind of like a view.
About how we don't know what we're doing, because we forgot that them things have to be charged, folks. So, you read Forged in Blood.
I read Forged in Blood.
I have been reading a lot of things. Honestly, a lot of them are like beta reads, content pulls, so...
takes up your time.
It takes up your time. Trying to work more. Well, I am working more. Luna is growing, so I've been working more. I'm doing my own author work. Well, still through Luna, but just like more author direct projects. And so I definitely feel like I slowed down some, but I did beta read, but the book came out now. A Why Choose book, folks, that I would like everybody to read. And if you're like, what? No way. No. I beta read a Why Choose book because the author was like, hey, I would like to get someone's opinion and have a content pull done by someone who doesn't normally read like Why Choose, so that we can see like what would help like hook you and things like that. So I started it, which is Axes and O's by Kayla Gross, and it's out now. Holy shit, folks. I mean, 10 out of 10, without a doubt, the best Why Choose book I have ever read, ever. And I have read like 50 or so. I mean,
yeah,
it's not like, I'm like, I have a decent amount to know for sure that it's not my cup of tea. But this one,
you're like, give me all the
I
tea.
literally want to reread it.
You want the cereal,
as soon as
pouring it for
yes,
you.
As soon as it comes out on audio, I will be doing a reread, a listen to, because it was that good. It is a husband and wife duo that come across a man that was in a car accident, like with a snowbank, because it's in like this little mountain town. And so they get him out and they're trying to take him back to their cabin so that they can help him. But then like this huge storm comes and all this stuff. So now we're in like a snowed in situation, and while they're in this, he's like fine, he's not really like hurt, but his car was fucked up. So while we're in this cabin with the husband and wife, I really can't remember their names, but he's a lumberjack daddy, and I mean daddy in every way. You better call that man daddy. And then our new man is named Nathan, and I cannot remember the girl's name, it's really bad. That he calls her brat a lot, if it helps. But it's all about them looking for someone new to bring in, and they really like his vibes and stuff as they're getting to know him the first few days, and they're not pushing him like at all. Like they're letting him take the lead while also like wanting him to come in, but the husband and wife are nervous because like they got ghosted or like burned from their past partner, and so they were a little nervous to bring someone in, but this all ends up being a good fit. And the best fucking thing about this book, folks, is swords cross. Let's get that.
Yes.
Swords be crossing. If I'm reading,
love when they cross.
If I'm reading Why Choose, the swords better cross. The swords cross a lot, not in any weird forceful way. Like, as I know it's like a quick like insta love type of timeline, but I love insta love.
I am a slut for insta.
I love it. Some people don't like it, but I would rather
I'm like,
that.
Well, I'm
honestly,
not one of those people.
I'd rather that than slow burn.
Me too.
So it's an insta love type thing, not pushy, but a lot of sword crossings while the wife is watching because she's a voyeur. That is what she likes, and that's what Father Lib likes, folks. Absolutely. Without a doubt, hot. And I'm just going to say it because this is what hooked me. And I think she is marketing it like this now. The best primal play I've ever read, because this is a Christmas themed book. It takes place over Christmas. Like Christmas is supposed to be happening. That's why he's like on the way like to this little town to like go for Christmas at his sister's house. And the couple's there at their cabin because they primal play every year, cat and mouse style. And whatever pine tree daddy catches her by, they fuck on it and then cut it down and decorate it for Christmas, folks. Happy Merry Christmas. Holy shit, I'm horny. I loved it.
We can go with Happy Christmas, the British
I was
do
thinking
it.
of Harry Potter for you. I am not kidding. Actually, Paisley was saying in our last episode that she was reading a book and then she had to take a break. Noir Moon, and go and take a walk. I had to take a break doing my beta read. I really enjoy Christmas Primal Play.
And guess what book is now at the top of my TBR list?
No, it's so good, so spicy. I do like the plot. It's a full book. It's 96,000 words. It's not a novella or anything. It's a big book. Well, you know what I mean? A good sized book. Loved it. 10 out of 10 recommend. I'm making my mom read it since it's so good. I literally love it. Kayla, you've nailed it. Without a doubt, that'll be the one all year. I'm telling people. Yeah, Christmas Miracle, Kayla. Thank you. So I was reading that, and then I beta read Braving the Storm. That's right, folks. I got to read Uncle Stormin before everyone, and I like to hold that against Brittany right now because she's reading Chasing the Wild.
In the throes of Chasing the Wild as we speak.
She is ready for Uncle Storm and Briar, and so good, so good. Free use kink. We're gonna get a little more into that later. That was so good. And then I I have 10 chapters left. Pippa Grant and her wonderful PA or Bright PR, whoever's working with her, emailed me and was like, would you like to audio read any of Pippa's books? And they sent me a fucking catalog of her book, which is great.
Which is amazing.
So I started the first one. I asked her what she liked, her reading order, so I just went with her. And I keep forgetting the title of it. It is Dirty Talking Rival, which is small town rivals, but as in this small town 10 miles away from the other small town, they're the rivals. They are not rival families within the same town like a Lena Hendrick situation. These are two mountain towns fighting over which is the best place to visit, in this part of the mountains. Our leading guy, Grady, is a professional baker, and he's fucking horned up for these pastries, folks. He is in the back of his bakery being like, that's right, I'm gonna stuff you good. He's talking to Cupcakes. Or he'll be like, that's right, you like it when Daddy fosters you sweet. And his sister walks in and is like, the customers can hear you. And it's so good. I love it. He's awesome, but his best friend from high school just came back to town after graduating and leaving and being in the military for 10 years. And her name is Annika. And the only reason she's back in town is because her mom's dream was to open a bakery because she loves to bake in their town, which is called Sarcasm, and his town is called Pirate something. And so she came back because 3 days before her mom was supposed to open the bakery, she went blind. She completely blind. She lost her sight. So Annika doesn't know how to bake or do anything. She's literally only there to help her mom. But of course he's pissed off because he loved her in high school and he didn't write her when she was in the military or doing anything. But then he comes back and learns that a rival bakery's popped up. So he goes over there right away and is like, you're a fucking bitch and I hate you and you suck. And then, she doesn't say anything because she's like, I'm gonna let you sit your ass right on down and look like a dummy. So she does. Then he feels like a dumbass. Now he's groveling, and a newspaper is involved, and they're loving their rivalry because there's antics, there's customer poaching, there's a parrot that flies around and says the most inappropriate things ever, I like the cum guzzler, crazy ass shit. And this one character's like, that is not appropriate for a bakery. It's just funny and good.
Where did the parrot learn these things? Is what I'm wondering.
Grady's grandpa is the owner of the parrot, and I would like to pre-novella, I think, of Grady's grandpa.
You better start that gentle bullying.
Pippa has no idea what she's in here yet, folks. But it's really good. So there's, this newspapers picking it up, writing about it, but they're both falling in love. So they really aren't liking the fact that they're pulling one over on their families and everything. And some crazy shit actually just happened at the last 10 chapter mark. Not a third act breakup or anything, but I actually wasn't expecting it to go that way. And I'm loving it. It's so good. 10 out of 10 recommend. I thought this one would be a little maybe too rom-com for me, but I'm really enjoying it. I laughed out loud the whole ride here. That's what I listened to. 10 out of 10 recommend. I literally have 20 more Pippa books after this. But I'm excited because I think they all semi-connect. Like random characters cross over.
I love when authors have big worlds that are all
I know, and like
connected.
When one randomly walks by in the background, I'm just like, oh, I know you. I know you. I hope we see the parrot. Honestly, I hope we see the parrot a lot. And I know if anyone's listening and you guys have read these, let me know. But we just got like a couple chapters ago, his sister walked in. Grady's sister walked in, the one who like, hey, the customers can hear you. Walked into the sarcasm bakery, Annika's bakery, because they used to be friends in high school, like too. And so she was like, hey, like I came in here, and then like something happens with the banana cream pie recipe. But she's a coffee addict and she was drinking matcha. And I think the next one's accidental pregnancy, and I'm very excited for it. That's my little tidbit for everyone to read it. I know someone was telling me that is watching that they were reading it. So whoever you are, because I cannot remember, maybe it isn't it. Maybe that's why it came out of my mouth. Right. We read a lot of the same stuff. But if that was you, let me know, because I need to talk to someone that's read them, because I'm laughing out loud. Like, there's just too many funny things. Like, the mom's blind but is falling in love, which is amazing. Like, I love it, but she's like, bye, like, I gotta go. She's like, this is literally your bakery. Just because you're blind doesn't mean you get to not do anything. It's just so good. There's the younger sister. Like, her younger sister's, like, only 13, and she's, like, 30. Oh. So a lot of things, because her mom had her when she was 16. So it's just like a whole bunch. There's like a lot of things that are like serious going on, but the comedic relief is absolutely perfect. 10 out of 10 recommend. Next week I'll be back with book 2's update. Or maybe book 2, 3, and 4. Besides that, I really haven't been reading too much. We're doing our buddy read. We'll talk more about that later. And yeah, I'm excited for November to be chill and to read Tog.
You are doing your first reread of Tog.
And I've been told that it's better than the first time through.
I would agree with that.
I think
it'll be, maybe not better's the right way to say it, but like just different.
I think it's different because you know what's going on, but I'm excited to pick up on the things that I
pick up on the things you didn't on the first go around, because you just
and just to get the refresher, like especially like from actual Throne of Glass. That's high ranking for me. I know a lot of people don't rank that high, but just a lot of the side characters, and I just liked the Death Games plot. Like, I'm just excited to get more of the niche details again, because I forget a lot of them.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to a low-key November and getting to some of my TBR.
Yeah, the TBR that I just keep throwing shit at you.
Yeah.
Read this. So that's that. Are you ready?
For Cowboys?
Are you ready to YeeHaw it all up in here? So last week we had Miss Paisley Hope on, and it only seemed fitting that the first book we discuss is Holding the Reins.
Holding the Reins.
So take it away, Sister Britt.
I read Holding the Reins earlier this year with my eyeballs for the first time after Father Lib told me that I needed to read it.
I bullied her. I told her that she had to drop everything. Just so everyone knows, we do give each other a lot of book recs, but I feel like we don't abuse, which we could, but we do not abuse the power of like, this is the end all be all, like I'm pulling rank, like best friend rank, like you have to read it. But this is one of the first times I pulled, not rank, but you know what I mean? I asked you, like, will you please stop everything and read this? Because
you know what I like so well, and you knew that I was going to love it.
I didn't want you to wait.
And you didn't want me to put it off and like see a spoiler or get something ruined, and so...
And then you ended up loving it just as much as me, which made me feel really good that I made you stop what you were doing.
I remember I read it right after we got back from our girls' trip in March.
Yeah.
Because we filmed our second cowboy video, and we were reading it at the beginning when we turned up and
were
looked.
like,
Yes. And I kept opening the same chapter 14 with Cece, and I was like, well...
Make sure you go check out our TikToks, folks.
Yeah.
And our reels.
So when I got home from that trip and I started it, I was just like, oh my gosh, because as Libby likes to live in small town land, that's her home. At that point, I was really, really comfy in sports. Like,
yes, you were. We weren't reading a lot of the same stuff at all very often.
And I was flitting around between different sports, but it was usually sport heavy with a dose of mafia.
A lot of baseball at the time, I feel like. Which is why I wasn't reading as much.
Yeah.
And football.
football,
because we
baseball.
had a couple hockey.
Lots of hockey.
A couple hockey that we did together.
Yeah, that we didn't
love. We'll save that for a hockey episode.
Yeah. But so I was intrigued by this being that it was small town, part-time cowboy, retired hockey player.
In the Midwest, our Midwest version of Midwest.
And so I was like, okay, we're going to do it. And he's a tatted up MMC, and I'm a sucker for a tatted up man. So
obsessed.
Nash Carter instantly went on my top 10 book boyfriend list.
Yep.
He bumped someone off, and he has stayed there. And I got done reading it, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be one of my top reads of the year.
Yep.
It is. But I loved the family aspect. He has a bit of a tragic past, and learning more about him.
This is brother's best friend.
It is.
Every week, folks, we realize that it's, why had I never seen it? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I literally, that was real time. I just clicked. Even after the episode last week with her, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. brother's best friend was always right in front of my eyes.
Yeah, so, I mean, Cece coming home after douchebag ex.
Yes. Folks, he crawls. I'm like, we're missing the biggest thing of my whole existence.
I love the coffee aspect of it.
I do love the coffee aspect. Like we were saying, and if you haven't watched or listened to the Paisley episode, please go do it. It was so good. We loved talking with her.
She was so easy to talk to.
Yes, incredible. She has the best vibes. But I was telling her, like, I had definitely read at least 2 or 3 times before a man who crawled, but it was in the sense of like a big daddy, like dom, or a mafia kingpin, like proving to their like virgin like marriage of convenience that like he can submit to her in this crazy like fucked up dark world. So this was totally different. Clearly, when I was
very different type of crawling,
small town cowboy land, and yes, he's doing it to show that like he will do anything to please her, that she can be in control, and he's comfortable with it. But it literally took it in that sense for me to be like, holy shit, this is the superior microtrope in Father's Lib's eyes. Nothing has ever knocked it out since then.
And I did really love how he's like really trying to fight it because he's not wanting to upset his best friend, Cece's brothers. And so he's trying to get beyond what he's feeling for Cece, and he's on a date, and he witnesses the ex-fiance come back to town and try and gaslight her and manipulate her into going back to, where were they? Seattle? Where was...
Yeah, I think it was Washington or something
wherever.
Like that. We can cut this if it's wrong, but is this the one where he rides in on the horse?
He does not ride in on the horse.
Do you know what book I'm talking about with that? Because the boyfriend rolls up into town and he rides up on a horse to get off the horse and punch.
No.
It's not taking away from this book, but it just triggered. So if anyone knows what I'm talking about, we'll leave it in. There's a cowboy book where he rides in on a horse and immediately gets off of it and punches like an ex-boyfriend or douchebag in the face because he's pissed. And it's good. Literally only because
we need to know now. It's gonna be bugging us.
So let us know. It doesn't take away anything from Paisley's book that's not in it. It's just she reminded me that there's a book out there floating around. Ava Hunter, someone let us know. Annette, do you know you're so good and you know everything and read it all?
So I was proud that like Nash like went over and punched the shit out of him. I don't even remember what his name was.
Doesn't matter.
It does not matter.
Loser. His name is Loser.
But I was also, this is maybe a weird random tidbit, I was impressed with the date he was on, that she was like, you have feelings for Cece, this is cool, like, we're good. Like,
she's like, we can be friends and I can probably help you get Cece to like
just
you.
Like, what a great
that's
woman.
a girl's girl.
Like, yeah, it is a girl's girl.
I loved her immediately.
And I was like cheering, like, yes.
I love
you are on the list of who I want to be like for a girl's girl, because
I love
girls.
Girls.
I loved it. But then like full circle, like she goes to try and sell the condo and get her shit back, and of course he's
like,
stupid,
that's actually all mine and you don't have any money here.
And tries to like trap her with all the friends at the restaurant to get her to stay.
Yeah, to be like, oh yeah, like I didn't tell anybody that we broke up. You're a freak.
Yeah.
There is literally something wrong with you, sir.
And I was so glad that Nash followed, and
we love it. He's low-key a stalker, and we're here for it.
I'm here for it, you guys.
That's the type of stalking we are like, green flag.
Yes.
He's actually a green flag.
I loved it.
Loved it. Can't wait to do...
I listened on audio.
I'm like, I can't wait.
And
yep, I did the audio. I'll do another re-listen before training the heart, just so I can be back in the world again. I'm excited for Training the Heart.
I am too.
I need it immediately, especially after talking.
After our conversation with Paisley. I really am going to have to order from Blackwell's, I think. I
want the covers too. I think now that we were talking to her and about them and all of it and everything she's put into work, I'm like, I'm just going to support you and keep buying the covers.
Yep. Love it.
10 out of 10. Love Paisley. Love Holding the Reins. Love Nash.
We didn't even talk about, this was her debut.
Oh yeah, that's her debut.
I mean,
and that's also why I quote unquote pulled rank, is because very rarely do I tell anybody, watch out, like this is it, like buckle up. Well, honestly, one of the last ones I did, which it just so happened to be a cowboy, was Done and Dusted, which we'll talk about later. But I remember telling my mom, like, this is literally going to be the next biggest thing that's ever seen. And holy bananas. I mean, I was right, but I remember saying that with her, and then to see where she's at now from when I got my arc of that in January. And now she's like 25,000 deep on Instagram and hundreds of thousands on TikTok and all. I'm just
traditional publishing.
Yeah, she's doing new series. Oh my gosh.
One last detail and then I'll stop talking and you can go on to yours. My mom is like one of the most conservative traditional women out there. And
she's literally the complete opposite of my mom, folks.
Yes, but she has been reading quite a few of my recommendations.
Yes, she has.
And she just read Holding the Reins and she finished
Twice.
it and immediately started over. Like literally.
Back covered it, opened the front cover again.
And she said it was the best book that I've given her yet. And I've given her probably about 20.
I'm like a good 20, 25 books so far. Some series.
Yeah, she's done a lot of series. I think
I'm excited for her to read book 2 as well.
Yes.
Like we all need to read it together.
Mama footnotes recommendations and what she's read and liked. But she said Holding the Reins was the best one I've given her yet. So that was pretty cool. Anywho, I'll stop talking now.
No.
What do you got?
You're like, I'm going to have to make books my mom recommends. I'm like, I am literally not giving people the books my mom recommends. Absolutely fucking
You can
not.
give that to me.
If you want, I'm like, I will give it to Brittany and she could disperse the list of those that want her DMs. Kayla, Little Miss Smut, if you're listening, she loves my mom's one. Choose Rex. I love her. Okay, obviously, I'm going to start off with exactly the trope that I love from this book, which is wear the hat, ride the cowboy. Holy shit. Cash did it. I read a lot of cowboys, obviously. So where a lot of them are 5 stars. I don't even think a lot of them are like 5-star forgets. It's just a lot of them are 5 stars because I know what I like. He is up there. He jumped the list way more than I think. And I think it's because he did not like her. At first. I mean, this is Cowboy City Girl. And he's like, what in the actual YeeHaw are you doing in my small town? Because I think sometimes with Cowboy, and it's not, obviously there's all different kinds and all things fall under it. But a lot of times we see them at their horse trainers or, you know, they're a certain type of farm and they have a lot of help, which they did have help. But this is an active cattle ranch. And that was different because in Cash, which is by Jessica Peterson, you get a lot of actually how a cattle ranch is run. Like, I feel like after reading Cash, I know about
you learn factual information.
Yes. Whereas some of these, you know, you don't get the info of how a ranch is ran. And I love that. And that it was cattle, because I think the ones I have read, a couple of Devney Perry, you are getting the ins and out of like, this is a horse ranch, or we do horse training, or I used to be a bull rider and now I fix horse, you know what I mean? Yeah. And this one was awesome with just that aspect altogether, because it is a large part of the book, but that's why it's so important. It's because Cash loves his job. He loves working on this ranch. He loves his cattle. And I think us getting chapters where we're learning about it really like honed in, like, this is a man that loves to work. He loves his job. He loves being a cowboy. So then when a city girl comes in and does not abide by the rules of starting at like 4 a.m., you know, we're supposed to be waking up and doing our stuff. And that's Molly. Molly comes into town and she likes him, but also he's just like, why are you such a grumpy asshole? And obviously it's forced proximity. And there you got a lot of banter going on because he is grumpy and he doesn't give 2 shits about what he says a lot in the beginning. So the banter is endless because Molly's like, I'm going to give it right back to you. Obviously, the best part is when she wears his hat. Do you guys want to see spicy artwork if you're watching?
Yes,
you guys better go over to the podcast page if you want. So this is literally like, this isn't like, oh, it's kind of not safe. This is not safe for work artwork if you want to see it. But this is the moment where she wears his hat in the barn, and I'll describe it. He's on the ground, naked, jerking himself off, she's on a hay bale while he eats her out, and she's riding that cowboy while she wears his hat. And it's pretty good, isn't it?
It's really good. I've never seen this
It's some
before.
of my
This is
best.
the first.
Yeah, it's some of my favorite, not safe for work artwork.
This is good.
It was
yeah.
good. And he has long hair. And I normally don't like cowboy. Like, I normally just don't like long hair.
Cassie.
But yeah, he has long, like, here's what they look like. I just have some of the character art for this because I was so gracious to get a PR package from Jessica. But yeah, he has like the long, wavy, like hockey flow type hair. She's kind of gingery and she's very cute. She's so sassy. 10 out of 10. I recommend, especially folks, because Wyatt, slutty little Wyatt with all of his tattoos is coming, and I need everyone to read Cash so that we can all understand while I'm literally foaming at the mouth for Wyatt. It's in the hand of beta readers right now, I've heard.
Cash is high on my list to get to as well.
Very, very good. Jules reads romance. Is that her handle with all the underscores? We always tag them. This is her favorite cowboy romance and one of her favorite reads of the year, and I would like to this be like my influence is working on all my friends. She loved it. So good. Literary Botanicals is obsessed. Like,
I gotta say, I see it all over Bookstagram, and everything I've seen is looking phenomenal, and like I'm gonna love it. It's just I haven't had the time.
No,
but
that's
now
okay.
I'm getting to have time, and I'm
I
excited.
really like the covers too. Like Wyatt has the same type of vibe, except you see more as his face because he's more of an out there guy. It makes sense that like Cash's face is more covered. He's more grumpy and reserved. The next one is Wyatt with his tattoos.
I love those details.
I know. I'm excited. I'm excited to see if like, I can't remember the color matchup. Like I can't remember if it's gradient or not, but I don't know. I love the colors. I feel like a lot of the cowboy authors are really nailing it with the covers lately. So I'm buying 100 versions of them.
You can never have enough.
That's okay. If you're listening, a little birdie told me that Jessica Peterson is going to be a guest. When that will be, I don't know. I mean, I do, but I'm not telling you. But this is your little prank. We don't give them very often, so I'm kind of excited we dropped that. So
I have a due date, you guys.
She's like, that's why it's moved up. No, she was already on her list.
It was already on there.
But especially since we weren't sure if Wyatt was coming this year either. I just didn't know. So it made sense that you were going to wait until we figured out. But I'm excited.
All right. Our next cowboy is Cade Jennings from Rewrite Our Story, book 1 in the Sutton Mountain series by Kat Singleton. It is a beautiful cover.
I like I like the discreet more than the...
I appreciate the discreet cover more than the couple cover.
Yes. Just for this series especially, I just like all the detail.
Yeah.
And I like the special editions that we are getting.
Yes.
That our friend Kim's Book Garden... Can't remember, KGB design, something like that. I'll make sure to tag it below. But Kim's Book Garden is one of our friends that does the like TikTok pink type covers, and they're gorgeous.
They're beautiful. So this one is a great second chance romance. I was not prepared for the emotions that start in the prologue with this book.
It's a little heavy there, folks. Check the trigger warnings for real. Especially deals with parents.
It deals with parental death. So yes, check those trigger warnings. I was crying, and I don't cry all the time. So when I cry...
So if Sister Britt's crying, then we all know that Father Lib's fucked.
Yeah. Yep. And so... the prologue is in the past, and then chapter 1 is 14 years later, and Mare, she's headed back home to Colorado because her best friend, Pippa, who is also Cade's sister, so we got best friend's brother trope, their mom passed away, and so she was like a second mom to her, and so she needed to go home, but she was nervous to go home because her and Cade haven't seen her talk to each other in so many years after she left to go away for college. And so we get to learn what happened in the past between all of those years, what made them go their separate ways. And Marigold is an author in this, so it's kind of cool to read about an author in a book. I don't know, it's just a little detail.
It's like Inception a little bit. It's fun.
But there are so many things that Cade does to earn back Mare's trust and prove to her that she was important and he thought he was doing what was best for her. It's one of those things where I kind of struggle with that sometimes. Like the MMC is making a decision for her.
I twitch sometimes.
I know, but
I know it was done good in
done good in this one.
Sometimes it does make my eye twitch because I don't like when people make my decision for me.
But he just just felt it was so important that she got to go
live her
live her dream of going to college and things. So I can respect it.
He didn't want to hold her back.
Yes.
When he was going to be there no matter what.
Exactly. And so there's just the house that he builds for her in a special place, the secret tattoo in this one. There's just so much.
This whole series is good.
It is really good.
Emotional. Probably Kat's most emotional stuff, right?
Yes. This series is heavy on the emotions.
I won't lie to you guys. I've only read book 2, which I know you're like, what? But I had never read Kat. My first book by Kat was
Tempt Our Fate.
Tempt Our Fate. And I love it. I'm absolutely obsessed.
Which is Camden and Pippa.
Which is Pippa.
Which is Pippa's story.
And I love Pippa. I see a lot of myself in Pippa, actually. So that one was really good. I love the pink coffee cups. I don't know. That was good. And that one was also like, there was good emotion and stuff in it too. I need to do Chase Art Forever. I just haven't had time yet because I've been so busy.
But he is a true cowboy working on the ranch.
YeeHaw, so folks.
We have trail rides and horses and things going on in a barn.
They're a horse farm.
I think,
or like train horses or house them, something like that along those lines.
I think they like do things for tourists with like trail rides and things. Yes-ish.
No,
this is where my knowledge is the greatest.
That's why I was just trying to get just my across the point is that like, which I know you can you can do them anyway, but I had never read details about a cattle ranch. So I just thought that was cool. Like a lot of them fall under that, but I do find comfort in like the basics of it all.
I guess my last little point about this one that I thought was really sweet was after Mare lost her mom when she was really young, Jennings' family became like her second family, and she would go over there in the night and sleep in bed with him and like just cuddle because she was so sad and upset and trying to figure out how life worked without her mom. And so it was just, it's a really, really tender, sweet story. And I think it gets forgotten a lot within the series, but also forgotten that it's a cowboy book and a romance. And
it's got a little bit of the book 1 curse.
It does.
Just like a smidge.
Just a smidge. But I think it's a good one and always recommend people to read a series.
I'm going back and reading it.
I'm still going to try and make you read it. So yeah.
Oh no, I'm going back and reading it. And then we'll probably just do a full read through to get to book 3. This is one of my top reads of the year. And it took me by surprise. This is Things Left, she's so thick. Things Left Unsaid by G.A. Mazurke. You can get the cover, the couples cover, or this is what the discreet cover looks like. It's not the same book in here twice. It's just this big of a book. I don't recommend books a lot of times, honestly, that are over 500 pages, but she's close to 6, but it's one of the best books I've read all year. So this is also, I mean, they're all true cowboys, but definitely cowboy, but it's more emphasis on the like a ranch style. This is rival ranches in a small town. They butt right on up against each other for as long as generations go back. So that would be the 7 C's, like the number 7 and then a C, which is Colt. That's the MMC's ranch. He stayed on the ranch his whole life, was raised there, worked on it, loves that ranch. It's in his bones. He has a brother. That's going to be book 2. Lord help us all when it comes to that one. I think that one might be an accidental pregnancy. I'm very excited. So that was really good. So like he's really good. He loves his ranch. They're struggling. They are struggling so bad. It's horrible. Their rival ranch is the FMC's ranch, which is Bar 9. Her name is Suzanne, but he calls her Z.
Play on Bar None.
Yes, but it's Bar 9, and so that's Z's, and they're also struggling, but they are doing a little bit better because her grandmother's running in, and she's just like savvy and kind of bullies people into like making sure they come to the ranch. So Z comes back into town because like the grandma is like finally telling like things are getting worse than they were. She needs Z to come back into town to help because Z right now is a paralegal for the Sinners MC, which is another series by her. And you see Z as the paralegal and like the receptionist randomly. So I loved that this was the spinoff for her. So she comes back into town. She's not welcomed in town. She's known as the town arsonist. And it's a definite heavy label. It does
well deserved.
I was going to say it has truth behind it, but there's always more than what the story is. The town arsonist story is why Colt hates her, quote unquote, like hates her. It's the reason she left town at 18. No one's happy she's back. Actually, Colt, because this is a marriage of convenience. These ranches need to get, Colt and Z have to get married so that they'll get a tax break because now they're one land. And even though it's more land together, it was helping with their tax break, with them getting married. So that's why she's back in town. They're fucking pissed. Z is pissed. Z's like, what do you actually, she's like, I was just around hot motorcycle men. Now you want me to marry some cowboy that I used to love that's an asshole? Not gonna work with me. Her grandma literally slaps her into place. And I mean, literally. I'm not saying it's right, but think of like the bluebird grandmas like slapping one of them in the face, being like, you gotta help. Like, so she does it. They're angry. It's hot. They don't like each other, folks. We all know those are my favorite. They don't like each other at all. I mean, they're hate fucking in one chapter. It's so hot. I love it. It's so good.
Sounds delicious.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I'm not saying it's like you're gonna cry. I think I cry because it's just the type of person I am. But it is like emotional because there's other reasons why Z left more, like that deal with the town arsonist. It's like a whole thing, and you really start to feel for her. One of the best things about it is this is a type 1 diabetic rep. Suzanne is type 1 diabetes, and Colt is obsessed with making sure that she is okay. He is a caretaker of her through and through. He hates her low-key, but also loves her always. Like, that's why I think I'm obsessed. It's because he loves her even when he hates her. So even when they literally are in the beginning and like hate fucking, he makes her give like the updates for her pump go to his phone. He has different alarms set. It doesn't matter if it's 3 a.m. or whatever. He'll be like, you need to eat. Here's this. I prepped it for you. The brothers get involved because they love her so much and care about it. It's worked into the story very well. I think sometime with reps, we were actually talking about this. Sometimes when it comes to like a medical rep or something, they don't do a good job of it. And I'll just be honest. They don't do a good enough job of actually making it real life.
They're just putting it in there.
They're like, it is. I want it like integrated into the story. This is the best book I've ever seen something like that done with, because there will be times where they're like, there's one time in particular, they're like in the kitchen they're like being frisky or whatever after baking. Her pump goes off. He stops what he's doing, goes and grabs her like a Capri Sun and a fruit snacks, hands it to her while she's still like up on her island with her shorts pulled down, lets her eat it, gives her that. Then he goes back to eating her out. That is real life with this. She needed to be taken care of, and then he continued to take care of her, and that's what I liked about it.
He took care of her, and he took care of her again.
That one's really funny because then someone is like runs in and is like, got an alert, and they're like, no, you don't need to be in here right now. But you
need to leave.
It's really good, and I really liked that aspect. You're never taken out of it. Like, you're never like, oh my God, I can't believe we were about to get it on and now we're drinking a Capri Sun. Like, it just works so well. It's so true. He loves her so much. There's this really sweet moment, like 3 chapters in, where she like runs into this lake, and I don't know, he's just worried about her. And you're looking at you will see this bad boy in my top 8 wrap up. 10 out of 10 recommend. I love it. I can't wait to do a reread. I think in November I'm going to, as part of my little like cozy. I do want to say this because I don't want anyone to see this trope and them deter you. This is a marriage of convenience, and it's supposed to have a baby clause. This is like almost like, I don't give Infinity Stars that often. I would say if someone asked me if it could be, I would say it would, but this is 5 stars. I love it. It's incredible. It's supposed to have a baby clause in it. We do not get a baby clause. It's in it, but they work it out so that like they do not have to have that baby and do that clause. So for my accidental pregnancy like lovers, like I still think this is a 5-star incredible book even without it. But I don't want not like accidental pregnancy people like avoiders or like don't read them very often to see that and be like, I'm not reading it. It is mentioned, they shake on it, sign on it, there's no baby. There's not even a baby in the epilogue. So I don't want anyone to see that and not, because I do think it's marketed like that. Which is not a lie.
It's
there, but there is no baby. No baby is on page. That's why I think book 2 is an accidental pregnancy with one of the brothers. Like, just from the way things have happened and this random girl that showed up on the ranch. Because it's 1 now. There's like a new name, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So I do just want to say, I don't know if you're ever watching G.A. Mazurke. She writes under a different name. I can't remember. For a long time, she had a different name, but she found me. Like, I just thought it was really cool. I just wanted to say, like, she slid into my DMs on TikTok out of all places and was like, hey, I was going through your TikTok and I went over to your Instagram, which she did. She like followed me and stuff. And she was like, I genuinely think this is like something that is 100% up your alley. Because I do. Oh, Serena Ackroyd. It literally says it right here. This is Serena Ackroyd's real name, G.A. Mazurke. when she said that, I was like, yes, I would love to. I do think that there are sometimes that people take their shot and they probably have a copy and paste message. Which I'm fine with. Like, we think you'd like this. Like, whatever, do your marketing, because half the time I still read them no matter what. But her, and then I'll just always shout her out, and Harlow James are the two that slid in that I know did their recon, because they're like Infinity Stars almost and are in my top 8. And that's how you know. They were like, hey, I stalked you.
They did their due diligence.
And now I stalk them every day because I want more of their books. So good. Like, I don't know. I can't compare her writing to anybody. She's just so good. I've not even read a lot of like Serena Ackroyd's she writes like darker romance.
And you got a really cool PR box for that.
Oh my gosh, yes, I will. You guys have to go check out our TikToks and Reels, but I do think, I'm glad you said that. That is probably the best PR box I've ever got because of the detail she put into it. It was hand printed all on the inside. Like, it was dark purple. It had the complete character art of each person, but in like a old style frame, like that you would hang on, like see on a family tree. Every teeny little detail was like handpicked. That was a moment in the story. I even think there was like, which it was really cool. Like there was like something that had to do with like the diabetes. It was just really cool. Like one of the snacks that was her favorite, like when her blood sugar was low. The details nailed it. She nailed it. I remember sending that to you.
You did? Yeah, I was blown away. Yes. I was like, wow.
She did amazing. These are big books, obviously. So I do know book 2 is not until next year. I don't even think it might be until like March. This takes a while. It's going to be a full series of all of the brothers, which are Colt's brothers, the 7C brothers, before they combined. But she's thick, you guys. So you guys, if you want to catch up and like be prepared, I think this is a good one where you can, because man, I'm obsessed. I do want you to read that one. I know there's a lot, but I'm like, I do think that's one you're going to love.
We're 2 for 2 that I still need to read, you guys.
Next! I'm really excited about these ones too.
All right, we got the duo here of Done and Dusted and Swift and Saddled by Lyla Sage.
Someone spit whiskey in my mouth. Lord help us.
It was so good. I read this one, although I knew about it because of you. This was actually one of my 12 for 12 recs this year, Done and Dusted was. So I read it in February because I started my year with Ignite with yours.
Dex Matthews. You'll see him in a single
dad episode. But Luke and Emmy are so good.
Clementine. Her name is Clementine.
Emmy? Oh yeah, her real name.
Yeah. No, that's why I was just saying. Like,
okay. I was like, did I say the wrong name?
No, I just like her real name is Clementine. Clementine Ryder.
She goes home because she has an accident and wants to go back to where she feels safest on the ranch. And brother's best friend.
There's something wrong with me that I didn't figure it out until
brother's best friend
within the last month or so. This book has a really special place in my heart because I got the arc for it. Followed Lyla on Instagram when she had 200 followers. She followed me back. I made content. It was the first author that ever asked to repost my content that I made on her page. And I started Vyvanse and ADD medication because of this book, because I was reading it and I was like, wow, I'm pretty sure everything she's ever said has happened to me. And I just thought it was my anxiety and depression as well.
Yeah, and I had the same kind of eye-opening experience when I was reading, and I was like, I think I may be undiagnosed ADHD. Yes. And with my son being autistic, the chance of both parents not having a little neuro spiciness in you slim to none. So I'm like, oh, this is making a lot of sense. And not to jump to the end, but I have made my mother read this book as well, and she did really enjoy it. But I wanted her to read it for that fact alone, to be able to see, do you see any of the traits that I had growing up in Emmy? And like, one of the main things that stuck out was like feeling like you didn't know where things were when it was clean, but when it was a mess, you knew where everything was. And I was just like, holy shit balls, that is me.
Oh yeah, because my mom listened to it when it finally came out on audio, because that's literally the reason I got on medication. So I do think she might have eyeball read it too. But she said the same thing. She was like, we didn't even realize, I guess, because I have I've been on anxiety and depression medication since I was like 14. So I do think it kind of got lost in the shuffle of it all. But when she was reading it, she said that and the food triggers.
Yeah.
No, I didn't even realize at all. And then I was reading it and I was like, this is annoyingly accurate with the food stuff and the hyperfixations and the random I was just like, wow, I feel like I would have had a lot better. I would have liked high school, honestly. Like, I know it's kind of sad, but I feel like a lot of people might have liked high school better if they would have known, like, a way of ADD. Like I just needed a little bit more focus.
Absolutely. But it was
so good. I loved the lake moment.
Yes.
I loved when he spit whiskey in her mouth. We did. One of our cowboy reels has an homage to that, folks. I was going to keep pushing Arctic.
That was one of my favorites.
Me too. The first one. In this house.
In this very
house.
Last
year.
I'm going to go this time.
Yep, I'm just going to keep pushing our TikToks and reels.
Do it. But I loved how supportive Luke was with figuring out that something was going on with Emmy that she wasn't telling everyone
because she's a barrel racer.
Yes.
If I don't know if we said that. But that's kind of...
She had an accident.
Yeah, that's kind of what she's like...
To her safe place.
But she's so good at it that he knows that he would like to push her in ways to make her overcome it because...
He knows that's what brings her joy, and that was her goal and what she wanted to do. Yeah. So he found a way to get her. We got Swift and Saddled, which is a tattooed FMC. Really non-tattooed main character. He has none, right? Yeah, no, Wes doesn't have any. So we got Wes and Ada. Black Cat, Golden Retriever. Fixing up a house on the farm. A little HGTV-ness. Yeah. I loved her overalls. I know it's so random, but I did. I just loved it. She was always in them. They're iconic. They're meet cute at the bar. Like their meet cute. I was just stopping and think. I was like, I did like their meet cute at the bar. That was good. I need to listen to that one on audio. Is that came out on audio? I'm not positive, to be honest. Maybe that's, I know I've already. That's how I did that with my arc, but that one was good. And then Lost in Lasso comes out maybe the week this is coming out. I think Lost in Lasso comes out on the 5th, so definitely in between Paisley and this episode, so we're gonna be reading that. We've been waiting. Yes. One of my favorite pieces about this, though, was a very small scene where we got to see Wes feeding a baby cow. Yeah. That was like the thing. We need some character art of that. Sweet little moment. A cute little character art of that would be perfect. I also liked how we got to see a lot of like girl time between the two. Because they are best friends. So yeah. I was just staring at the covers. That's what I was looking at. They're beautiful covers. They're beautiful covers. I love them. Rebecca. Yep. What Rebecca reads. She was pointing out to me because she was able to arc read Lost and Lassoed about how the importance of the sky colors in the books because of the time of day and things. So Lost and Lassoed, the cover is during night. And then we go back to morning and like a sunrise. Like midday, sunset, night, and then the last one with Dusty, who I'm most excited about, my slutty little Dusty, is sunrise. I'm here for it. It's going to be so good. All the cover. I just keep staring at the covers because they are beautiful. I love them. I really would like a coloring page of them. I know that's weird, but I love to color. I feel like they are the perfect covers for that type of coloring book. Like this type of style. Yeah. I wish they would all come together and give us the coloring pages of them because I would buy it and I would do it. Should we chat about how we got to meet Lyla? We did. We met up in Indiana with our friend Emily, and we went to Lyla Sage's meet and greet and her little reading, and that was really fun. That's the first author we've ever met in person. She signed her books. We all got to take a picture with her. She told me that she knew who I was. Yeah. Which was low-key one of the craziest moments of my life, I kid you not. When she was like, I know who the Smut Daddy is. Tip my hat to you there, little lady. And that was pretty cool. It was also just fun that we got to do it together, like our first book thing like that. Yeah. We have anxiety. Because we're not big on the big book conventions because with social anxiety. I do have, yes, my anxiety is very social based. So it was nice. We got to sit in the back. I feel like we planned it out very well and it was really fun. I loved it. Last year? I know you don't know, but was this last year? I think last year, right after because this was part of our first TikTok. Yes. So right after we met, I found an author named Ivy Jackson who also writes under, this is her pen name. She is Dana ISLES, something like that. Her name's Dana, but this is also her. Ivy Jackson is her small town land name, and she writes, this is the Rescue Ranch series, the first two, and I fell hard, really hard. Book one was good. It's actually funny because I forgot a little bit about it, but then we were going over it and I was like, oh yeah, had a little bit of the book one curse like Cat. It's like, you're not like it's bad, it's just like you can't always remember. This is Rhett and Poppy. He's a single dad. He hates everybody. All these dads are grumpy. The whole point of this is their ranch is dedicated to rescue animals. That's Rescue Ranch, a big emphasis on horses that need rehabilitated and
the other big part is dogs. They have this huge dog rescue part, and a lot of the characters are going to because they need companionship or dogs, or they need the horse therapy. So it's so good. I remember things about it, but this one is my favorite, to be changed. This is the one where I like fell head over heels because he crawls. This is book 2, and it is called Untamed. The first one is Burned. I also love these little covers that she has. Obviously the same artist draws them. So that was Burned, where you really are getting a look at the family and the brothers and their rescue. This is a Cane Creek, Montana that we're in. And single dad, so good. But then you get to Hayes, is our main character guy, and River is the girl, which I think you'll like because you love a good river.
And
she's the girl River.
Kelly Clarkson has a river rose. Fun fact.
This is just so good. For all the reasons that they hate each other, and he's like annoyingly charming. It's forced proximity. She just wants a fucking dog, and man, this friendship, boy, it blossoms. And when it blossoms, he decides, I should go in the barn and crawl to you.
Do you guys want to see Libby crawl for me?
I've done it in a TikTok.
What's that?
We literally are just gonna keep saying go look at him, but it is true. Maybe I can link them below. There's this really funny TikTok sound that's just about like horny cowboys, and so we use it and hold up the books. But I do crawl to Britt for the first time ever, and it's because he crawls to her. And I know I keep saying it, but why is it so hot? It's just so hot to know that these grumpy men will submit. Like, because I put myself in all these characters' shoes, the girls, and I'm like, it's just so hot when the men submit and crawl to me.
Have we asked Mr. Smut Daddy to crawl?
No, Paisley asked that. And I'm just like, is that like a Christmas present? Do you think that's something I could ask him for Christmas? You see the words pop up. No!
Maybe like a 10-year anniversary.
Hey,
gift.
you know, Daddy. I'm like, Mr. Smut Daddy.
He's gonna be editing this. Shut up!
So it's really good. No, I mean, I know I won't lie, these probably are the ones that are the furthest from my brain because I haven't ever done a reread of them, because I just want to be honest, this is not me hating on the author in any way because I do love her. But she had to take a break. She needed to take a mental health break. She also got married and was going on a fantastic honeymoon, and she wanted to soak all of that goodness up. So book 3 is the book I've been waiting for, I feel like, my whole life. Brittany knows all about it because, like most authors, you get chapter 1 of the next book, and I can't even remember the brother's name, honestly, but chapter 1 of this book is the ultimate fake dating trope that I can't believe more people haven't wrote. It is small town strangers. I mean, literal strangers we met 10 seconds ago. The premise is this brother's walking down the street in this small town to go to the bar or go get coffee. He sees a very hot female that he's never seen in town before crying under a lamppost because her long distance boyfriend that was supposed to come into town with her to meet her family ghosted her and broke up with her. So now she's embarrassed that she's in this small town to have her family meet her long-term boyfriend. So the brother goes over, says, no, like, don't cry. You know, it's being all swoony, like, ma'am, don't cry. Like, wear my cowboy hat. And she's like, you don't understand. Like, my family's in there, and they're going to make fun of her. Like, she's kind of the black sheep, I think, of the family. And he goes, okay, I'll do it. Let's go in. And he walks away and starts to open the restaurant door. And the book ends. Ma'am, what's your name? Sir, what's your blood type? There's not shit going on, but he is so ready.
He is ready to do it
fake
for
date
her.
this stranger, and I need it like I need fucking air, and we're about to get it, folks. She is back. She's tweaking it, and she's writing it and editing it, and it's coming out this year in December. I can't fucking wait. I can't even remember. Like, I can't even remember what the book is called, the third one, but I literally wrote with linen. Remember? Yes, I remember. That's why I was telling you. So with linen, and I can't wait because we all know, if you don't know and you're just meeting us, hi. I'm Father Lib, and my number one favorite trope of all time is fake relationship. And you're having strangers do it? I would like to watch it crash and burn while they're being horny and hot. Because he's the funny brother. He's like Lee Sullivan.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why he's like, I will date a stranger.
Yep.
And I'm
Sign me up.
And they've been dating.
It's a challenge.
They've been dating for like 6 months too, like this guy. So he's about to walk into this. He doesn't even ask her name. I mean, it's just perfect. I can't wait. We'll be talking all about Roped in a wrap up when it comes, because Brittany knows I bring it up a lot. And just because I want the author to do well, but I've never read Strangers Fake Dating, ever. Except maybe one, and the book didn't go the way I wanted. And it was new, and I'm not going to talk about it right now.
We just will move on.
So, Roped
by
Ivy Jackson. It's coming. I cannot wait.
It's this December?
I believe it's this December, if not January. And it's coming because she said there's a teaser review, because this is the main cover. It's not like a discreet or anything. That's the cover. So the author, it's purple, the cover. So that we went pink, blue, now we're in purple. And then there's going to be a fourth one, I believe.
You guys were 4 for 4, and I do own these 2 already.
Yeah, I did, because they went on sale. Remember on her Etsy,
on her
when
Etsy.
She was trying to get extra money to help with like wedding prep and stuff. So I did make you buy them.
So I have them. They are in my possession. They're on my physical TBR pile. So
they're very good. I like them. And I don't really think I've read anything about a dog rescue like this. Not that it matters, but I like it. I like that there's different elements to All Cowboys.
My closest thing that I can think off the top of my head would be like Mile High and Stevie going and volunteering.
Yep.
At the senior dogs of Chicago.
So that's Rescue Ranch.
Our next cowboy is coming from Miss Sophie Lark, and part of you guys, do you know that I like the Brutal Birthright series?
Like, did you guys know that we like Sophie Lark and anything that has to do with Mafia Sophie Lark?
Yeah, sign me up.
This is in the series of our Strawberry.
The Strawberry series.
So the origin story to Kingmakers. This is a parent of a Kingmaker's child.
So this is Broken Vow, and it is book 5. We got Riona Griffin, who is a tight strong, is that a way to describe her?
She is the most high maintenance bitch you'll read about.
Type A, control freak.
She needs organization, everything boom, boom, boom. Like,
she wants to prove herself as an attorney and part of her uncle's firm.
And she wants to prove to herself that she's allowed to be near this world.
Yes, because it's still very much a male world.
It's mafia.
Yeah,
of course it is.
But things are going on, and she needs a bodyguard. And we get, why am I blanking on his name?
I always forget it too.
You guys, man. Raylan.
Because I always want to call him Ray.
Okay.
I mean, that's just shorten it. I like his cover. Sorry, I just get distracted by how hot he is.
The men covers on...
I don't have those, remember? I have the white, I have the original white ones.
And I am so glad that I have these men covers because they're done so well. But they end up having to leave Chicago, and they go down to Tennessee, Kentucky,
our Midwest,
our Midwest, of where his family ranch is. And he is ex-military. So we got to meet him in a previous book, Bloody Heart, when he helps Dante out, and so that's how he kind of gets to meet Riona for the first time. And they don't love each other right away.
I would say they loathe just a smidge. They are not from the same world, even though they are.
Yeah, they don't.
He's so annoyed with her because he's like, you need to chill the fuck out and get your panties.
But he knows how to push her buttons from the word
He does it on purpose, too, which is so hot. Yeah. Honestly, at points, I'm like, are you going to tie me up now or what?
Yeah, like... At one point before they leave Chicago, he joins her on a date.
Just to be annoying. He's not the date.
He is not
He's crashing the date.
He's just there to do his job.
I fucking love him.
It is so good. It is hilarious. But
do you like bondage? He does.
There is an intense scene, though, when they're still in Chicago with her apartment catching fire.
Yes.
That was like, holy shit balls. But they get out and they go escape to his family ranch, and he has not been home for a while. He has a tough time wrapping his head around his family and his past and coming to terms with it. So he likes to keep busy, and so he was in the military and overseas for a lot of the years, but now he is back, and that's kind of opening up a lot for him. But Riona's learning a lot about herself.
Yes.
While she's there, and there is a scene in the barn with a crop that is just...
Please.
Stick a fork in me. I'm done. Like, holy hell.
Happy Thanksgiving, folks. YeeHawed all the way to that barn. Hot. He's hot. I keep looking at his cover because I don't have the covers of the guys. He's eyes. Hot. That's what I keep staring at. I'm like, I like you.
But then we obviously have to go back to Chicago.
Yep.
And they think the threat is gone.
They will be mistaken.
They were wrong. but she ends up saving herself.
That's what I wanted to make sure that we hit on.
Yes. He does follow.
Right.
He figures out that something isn't right and he needs to follow after her.
She Ada gallows herself and realizes that if anyone's going to save me, it's me.
Yes.
I love it.
Does it.
She's not as chaotic as our Ada girl, but she definitely saves herself. And I like that because, I think a lot of people like I'm in distress because it's mafia and save me. But I do like when they show up and are like, bitch, let me show you that I can do anything that you can do.
And then he's just there to support her. And their relationship truly is a really good one. And this is another one that I think doesn't get a lot of hype.
Everyone skips over it or they do not include it as a cowboy when he is in fact
a full-on cowboy.
He is a cowboy. If his family didn't have the ranch and any of that, then it would be just military, like mafia, but it's not. He's a cowboy.
He is a cowboy, and it is good, and it makes sense as part of the series, and...
Yeah, it doesn't take anything out of the mafia series either. He's just he's cowboy mafia.
And then when we see them in the second gen, they end up having 4 boys.
Oh my gosh, they have the most kids. I'm like, wow, you guys really got it on when you were so gung-ho about making sure you both.
And this was one of those too where they were concerned about where they were going to live because she was born and raised in Chicago and he was wanting to be
near
back
his
on the ranch
family
because he had moved past his issues.
I liked the blend of it all.
Yes.
Two sides
that she did it. She found the property.
Yep.
To have her own law firm. It's like a 20-minute drive.
Yep.
So they compromised so well.
I feel like it's good because it's two sides of the same mafia world. She's like, let me show you. I know, you know what I mean? I just like that you can get the Chicago aspect of it, but you're not taken out of it anytime.
Yeah, so that was...
We love Sophie. We obviously know, everyone knows. That's obvious now, but Sophie's incredible. She's the best writing, some of the best mafia I've read of all time. Wouldn't you agree?
I would, yeah. All right, what's up next?
I'm so excited because I bring it up all the time, but I don't think we've ever had her have a moment. The end for me, the end for me is Devney, which it is, but I have one in between breaking it up. But my God, Indigo Ridge by Devney Perry. I know that one cover's kind of hard to see. I do like her traditional covers because they all have the character within the mountain on the front. So it switches between each Eden. Each whatever character is most important. But we're in Quincy, Montana, folks.
I am borrowing Father Lib.
For our listeners, I am in.
Because as I whisper, I still haven't read Devney.
Oh, that's okay. You know me, I'm not mad, but I will push those on you.
I know.
And I don't give a fuck about it. I'm wearing Haven River Ranch, and that is Quincy, Montana for the Edens. So this is book 1 of the Edens, and let's just say that right off the bat, there ain't no fucking book 1 curse here, folks. This might be the best book out of the whole series. I'm obsessed with it. Obsessed. And I know you've heard me talk about different books in this series. I'll just say it. My least favorite book of all time is in this series, but that does not take away anything from the other books and specifically this book, which is Winslow Covington is new to Quincy, Montana because she is the new chief of police of town. Let's get that right. I fell in love with this cop right away because she takes nobody's shit. She doesn't give 2 fucks that these old men cops are like, you're not our chief. No, she is your chief. And she puts those old men right in their place. And she falls head over heels when she doesn't want to for Griffin Eden, who runs the Eden Ranch. He is the primary of the siblings. They all have their own thing and their own little parts of it. But he is the overall guy. And she's so pissed because the night before her first day as chief of police, she drove 20 miles to get out of town to go to a bar, to have fun, and to have a one-night stand. But also, Griffin drove 20 miles out of town to get away from his the Edens are huge, folks. This is a 6-book series. There are Edens everywhere. And a Christmas novella so that you get the parents' story of how they became to be. So she's a little pissed when she gets to work the next day. And there's this cowboy there that likes to hang around the police station because his brother's there. Yeah, she's not very happy, that chief of police, that she thinks he lied to her, knew who she was, that Winslow Covington was coming to town. And her grandfather, Winslow's grandfather, is in this town and is the mayor, which is why she decided to take the position when it was up. But that makes this makes Griffin mad for some reason, because they don't, it's a boys' town for a minute. They don't want her there. And they don't like that her mayor uncle or grandpa or whoever he is, I know he's the mayor, didn't give her the job, but put her name on the ballot for the vote. Does that make sense? Because you have to vote in your chief of police. So she's here doing all this, trying to work around all these men who are dumb. But at the same time, there is an serial killer whodunit on the loose. The whole book is a whodunit. And so the whole time, you guys know me, I'm sitting there like, oh, I know who it is. Bitch, do I know who it is? I'm texting Brittany like, I know who it is. I figured it out in chapter 1. Like, can't wait to get to the end. So that I know that it's right. And I've never said it or spoiled it, but I'm going to say it now for the first time ever. You get to the end of this book. I know a couple of you are listening and giggling because I'll never let it go. Never. It's like the second whodunit I got wrong. I got the Until I Get You wrong, and then I got this so severely, I mean, not severely wrong, but wrong. So I'm sitting there like, guys, it's Frank. There's this creepy man named Frank in this town, and he's clearly pushing these women off of Indigo Ridge. That's the whole point. Indigo Ridge is where these bodies are being found. So you're like 95% in. Winslow's been captured. You're like, holy shit, Frank's about to murder her. And then she opens her eyes or a blindfold is removed. Y'all, it's Frank's wife. Frank's wife! And I send a voice note to Brittany going, Frank's wife? It's Frank's wife? Holy shit, did you know that Frank had a wife? Like, Brittany's reading the book, but Brittany's not reading the book. And I'm like, holy shit, Frank's wife? Frank's wife murders these women because Frank sleeps with them? And Frank still sleeps with the women even though he knows that Frank's wife, I know she has a name, but she's forever Frank's wife. She is the whodunit. And I am flabbergasted about it to this day, because when I say that it was literally 20 minutes into the book, I'm like, I know it. Frank, you dirty old man, who's her grandpa's best friend, or her uncle, the mayor. It's the mayor's best friend. So I'm like, you're gonna have an alibi, the mayor. No, bitch. Yeah, the alibi is Frank is the alibi for Frank's wife.
This moment. And this was earlier on
in our friendship. Yes. Very early. I started Devney when I was like with our friendship. So it's all wrapped up into my soul. But I mean, I know it's cowboy land and I'm going off about Frank's wife, but it's like, this is a cowboy book. He runs the Edens Ranch. You meet all the other siblings who do different aspects of it, from the hospitality to the coffee shop in town. The Edens own the whole town of Quincy, Montana. Every single building and thing on there is the Edens coffee shop. The Edens this, the Edens that. So I don't want you guys to think it's not a cowboy, but it's a cowboy that I'm emphasizing on the cop. Because I don't know if we'll do a cop episode. We just don't read that many of them. Yeah, I think you guys would be bored, but it's incredible. I love that she goes to the ranch. Like, the whole thing is Indigo Ridge is on the Edens property. So he's pissed off all the time that, number one, all of these women are being murdered, and Griffin finds them every time. He's pissed off and traumatized that every time he has to go do his shit for his farm or on this ranch, not all the time, but over the past 10 years, there's been 5 different women at the bottom of Indigo Ridge. He always comes across them. He's pissed off, but they all get labeled as suicide. Bad for him. Yo, that is so traumatizing. And no one gives him a break enough about it, except for Winslow, but that pisses him off because he's like, you're not supposed to be giving me a break when my own family can't. But they all get labeled as suicide. They all are like, this is suicide. All these girls are coming up here killing themselves because a lot of them are younger, you know? It's not like Frank is doing good with these ladies at all, obviously. But Winslow's too smart. She says, where are their fucking shoes? Why are there no cuts on the bottom of their feet if there are no shoes? Because it's a literal, I mean, I know if you're watching, I mean, you see her, but like the whole point is it's literally this mountain ridge that they're jumping off of. So she's now fresh eyes on it going...
Can I tell you real quick that my eye has never picked up that it was a person?
If you guys are watching and you don't know, each cover of this book is, number one, a different color. They're each color-coded, and the color matters to the story. Each one is one of the characters within it every time.
That's so cool.
So it transforms.
It's just weird how your eyes pick up on certain things, and mine has never picked up on the face.
So some of them are the guys. Okay. Like, I know she's not an Eden, but like Winslow starts it all. So like this is Winslow. Then like the next one you get my brother, and then like Talia's on there, and then all the rest. They keep going. So I love them. It's so good. One of my favorite series by her, even with that book that I don't like in it. And I've said it enough times that I don't have to harp on it. So I don't want anyone to think that if you think like me and you won't like that book, it's still a fantastic series. I'm obsessed. And it is cowboy. I didn't handle that very well with the cowboy, but they're all mixed in together. He's trying to do his ranch life. She's trying to cop. Who done it? It's Frank's fucking wife. You're gonna know it now, but I'll never get over that moment of friendship.
So 5 for 5 that I haven't read.
Oh, I'm like, what are we keeping track of? 5 for 5 that you haven't read.
Yep.
I'm only 1. I'm doing really good.
You are doing really good.
Not that it fucking matters.
It doesn't, but I'm not sold on the Edens yet, I'll be honest.
That's fine. I think that it's definitely her most popular series. I think that's the series that put her on the map. She has
Is it weird that that's kind of my reason of why
No, I don't think that's it at all. Like, I think that's a normal reason to not. I'll just say it. We'll just give Devney her moment to shine because the best Cowboys I've ever read is to come. But I think that Calamity Montana gets the least amount of hype, and that's her best series, but it's not Cowboys, so we will be touching on that in Small Town Land. But I think that's an underrated series by her. I think
just from what you said, I feel like that would be something.
That one's 4 or 5 stars all across the boards.
More.
It's not like it's 5, 5, 5, 2, 4, 5. You know what I mean? It's literally 4s or 5s across the board. My second favorite Devney book, maybe third. It's hard for me to rank now with Haven River, but The Brood is top 3 favorite Devney books of all time, and it comes from Calamity. I think that gets overshadowed a lot because the Edens and stuff like that, it's like really popular on TikTok, like Lena was talking about with her trends. I love Calamity.
And I know we've touched on it before, but in case this is your first episode tuning in, first chapter tuning in, hello, happy to have you. But I think it's important to showcase with the Edens that not every book in a series is going to be
your favorite. And you could fucking that's literally, folks, I shit you not, the worst book I've ever read. One of these books in it. I do not like the plot. I hate it. It is not meant for someone like Libby. It is literally my biggest fucking nightmare in a relationship scenario ever. So to read it, I was like, horrible. It's literally in this series that I love the rest of the Edens.
You still love the series. Yes. You still love Devney. Yep. You're still reading
And I reread it when I did my reread. So as much as I hate it, I do think there are important moments that help connect to the next book. But I'm not gonna hype it up when I don't like it. But I do like to say that I still recommend it to everybody.
You don't have to like every book by the author, okay, guys?
Yeah, and I said it before, and I'll keep saying it. Devney has like 80 books I like. There's 2 I don't like by her. You know how many authors have 10 books and there's 5 I don't like by them? Which I know it sounds mean, but it's true. I mean, if you have 80 books, whatever, 60 to 80 books, and I only dislike 2, I would say you've nailed the formula. I'm only one person, so I just like to be honest with, you find your people who your brain aligns with, and I know there are people who think exactly like me, and so you're going to be reading that book and being like, okay, this is not for me. You're right. It's not probably for your brain, but it's important to the story, but it fucking sucks. But I still love the series, and I still recommend it. I still buy their merch, and I still love Devney to the ends of the earth.
Yeah. So.
Frank's wife. I want that to be like a sticker.
I feel like we should
make our own stickers. I know no one will understand, but like that would be so for us. Frank's wife.
I kind of want a t-shirt that says
Frank's wife. Oh my gosh, we're going to get on that.
All right.
It's your favorite of the year, right?
My top read of the year right now is Bull Rush by Maggie Rawdon.
I'm sorry, I just realized that we both have them. Oh, that's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
That doesn't always work out like that. Both of our top reads of the year is Cowboy. It's the year of the cowboy.
Now, some people, I feel like, would argue and say that this isn't a full-blown cowboy.
It's technically dark Western.
It's a dark
but
Western romance.
I'm not making a new Goodreads shelf that says Western. They fall into cowboy.
But Bull Rush is the name of his ranch.
His
ranch, you guys.
Ranch.
His ranch.
Because I have seen the debate going on back and forth.
Yes.
It takes place on a ranch. I don't know how much cowboy else you get besides that.
He's got a horse named Wolfsbane that he rides very well, that he knows how to do. He works on the ranch.
Yep.
He, in my opinion, he is a full-time football player, a part-time cowboy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just how we started with Nash being
half and half.
Half and half.
He's just more of like 75-25.
Yes. Can I also say a caveat here? This is the start of a new spin-off series in Maggie Rawdon's world. And Maggie's books are all a part of the same world. And Ramsey's story does not start here. We meet him in Mind to Gain, which is part of the Queen City Chaos series.
And as someone who just read those to get caught up, I think it's important to the story.
It is so important.
My eyes were on Ramsey that whole book, even though he was the side character.
Yes.
Now, I know it was like that because I was looking forward to Bull Rush, but that's how much he's in Mind to Gain. It's very important to his story and to understand all of his mannerisms and the way he's thinking and the way he works.
And the reason why he has to go back home to his ranch
is in
the end of Mind to Gain.
Yep.
So to fully appreciate his character arc, I do think that you need to read Mind to Gain. And if you're going to read Mind to Gain,
then you might as well just read the whole Rival Hearts,
because it's not going to take you that long. It's 2.5 books. The novella is like 30,000
yep,
words.
They're good.
And it's good. I love Maggie's writing. I love her flow. I love her spice. But then we get Bull Rush. And this is her... It is not a dark romance, but it is darker for Maggie. Maggie is in football sports world. So she
only so far.
So she wanted her readers who have been with her to know that this might not be for you because we're going with a little darker tones. Is it darker themes? But is it full on a dark romance? No, it is not. But she just wanted to set proper expectations.
You're not like reading like a Haunting Adeline or like anything crazy dark like that. But it's definitely, you have to put the dark in it because this is not a normal small town.
Right.
Normal small towns aren't dark like this. This is dark small town type of world, cowboy world.
Yes. So anyway, this follows Ramsey Stockton.
Lord help me.
That man. I love this discreet cover, and Maggie designs all her covers.
I know.
Found out on live recently.
We were talking about
it, and she does a phenomenal job. But this is one of those books where I'm going to be owning both the discreet cover and the man cover because the man cover. You guys,
Lord help us.
That man could do anything he wanted to, and I'd be okay with it. I'd say thank you. So Ramsey ends up going back to his ranch because he finds out that he is still married, and he thought he was divorced for 4 years.
I fucking love the plot.
I have never read a plot like this. A divorce of convenience is how she marketed it?
Yes, I've never read it like that, like the divorce of convenience, but I have read where a mafia, only one, and it was, I read a lot of mafia in the beginning. We've talked, like in what, like Lindy reads, she reads a lot. There's only one, and he almost wanted to get married drunkenly one night, and he realized, and they couldn't, because when they pulled it up, he was still married to the girl before he joined his mafia world. And so then he goes back and has to bring her in, and then he's like, oh, by the way, like, I just decided now I'm going to keep you. But this obviously was much different.
Yes. And so we get to meet Hazel, who is on his family's ranch when they got divorced, quote unquote. They both thought that it was a done deal. They both signed the papers, sent them off. They both assumed that they were divorced.
A filing error?
There was a filing error. It got lost in the mail. As part of the divorce settlement, he was going off to play football and pursue his dreams, and she was getting to keep his ranch because her dream was to own like bed and breakfast, and hospitality is important to her and the way she finds joy in her life. So she's definitely, like, her love language is acts of service. Yes, 100%. So she's trying to save the ranch because it is in some financial struggles, and she is engaged to be married to douchebag Curtis. Curtis, what are you doing, Curtis? And so Ramsey... Is it bad that I would like to read, you know me, I would like a redemption. What? You know I always read those guys and they get redemptions. No. We would I keep bringing it up, but we would literally not have JP King if we don't have redemptions. I know. We wouldn't have Dean Yemen. Right, all of my favorite men. I do love a good redemption story. So, but like right now, it's too close. I know you're like it's where too I'm like, fuck him. No, he doesn't deserve and one. I'm like, tampon. I'm like, there is. I don't want one for tampon, but I am definitely one that's like, there is potential for a book in the future. Sure, Maggie. I'm like looking at you. Maggie, don't listen to this. She's engaged. So she's engaged. She's thinking that her life is going to go forward in a certain path, and when she finds out that they are still married, the girl is pissed, and I can't say I blame her. And then Ramsey comes home for circumstances that I don't want to really say to spoil. I know because it is so spoilers, new, but it's so new. Yeah. I want people to give it some time, enjoy it. And she is not happy with the scenario that she is greeted with when he comes back home. And he makes her a proposition. And someone did ask me on my edit recently if there was cheating involved. And no. I am firm in the camp of there is no cheating in this book.
Not at all.
I don't read cheating. I will not read cheating. It's one of those tropes that is...
I don't really read it either.
Not for me.
It has
if it's
to
for
be...
you, that's great. I'm not yucking your yum, but no. I don't want to read it.
I don't really read it. It's literally going to be a one-off. Like, there will probably be cheating in a T.L. Swan book, but I'm going into that book knowing that's a one-off scenario. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't go out of my way to read those either.
And I think I went into Bull Rush thinking, like, not that it was going to be a dark romance, but it would be darker for Maggie, so I just kind of expected more angst and feistiness and...
gruffness.
Yes. And there are a lot of side characters. That's another thing.
It's a very fun world you're transported into.
Yes. And I have recently been talking to people about how many side characters there were and how to keep them all straight and this, that, and the other thing. But what I'm trying to remind people is that she was taking a chance by writing this book, but she wanted to have avenues to pursue if it did well, to tell a whole bunch of stories. And the amount of story possibilities that came from this one book.
10, there's literally like 10 different couples we could go to.
Yes.
10 different books from this one book that we could have from all the people that you meet across the page.
Yes, but like going back to her football plays and penalties, there's one sibling. Seattle Phantoms, we get another sibling. Queen City Chaos, we get another sibling. So she has these huge series avenues that have already been established. So like there's a lot of backlog to go in with Maggie. So with those side characters, I know sometimes they're hard to keep track of, but I do think we are going to see them all in the future. And Book 2 is already announced, Dark Horse, for spring 25, and I am
all I can think about is the Katy Perry song. Like the Dark Horse Katy. Every time I see it, I just think like you should be using that song for marketing.
Absolutely. But Hazel and Ramsey go on a wild ride while they're in their...
I really liked Hazel.
I did too.
A lot.
I really loved her. I thought, like, the things that she was doing, she was trying to push his buttons, and they know how to push each other's buttons so well, but she was really trying to push the line to, like, get him to concede, like, I'm gonna leave and let you get back to your life
like
and
live
finish
my
planning
life.
your wedding and go forth with how you thought life was going to progress. And Ramsey is like...
That's not gonna work for me.
Hell no.
I'm pretty sure that you're my property now. I mean...
And in
hot.
In his defense, she did not change her name, and she is still Hazel Stockton. Choices, you know?
I guess I didn't realize the last name.
Yeah. But there is a whodunit in this. And my spidey senses were going from the second she was introduced on the page. But towards the end, you do get, there is no redemption possibility.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I would have read it. I would have read him, but there is none.
There's none.
No.
But there is a part where I consider it a microtrope. I don't know if others do. But touch him and your...
Yes.
And
you're not allowed to touch.
Hazel is fucking badass.
She is a badass. I keep saying it, but I loved her. I liked her so much. More than him. Not that I didn't like him.
Oh, I can't say that. But they're one of those couples where I think I like them equally, and I like them as a whole.
It's not like he was bad. It's just like I do think in my mind I just liked her. I liked how feisty she was.
Yeah. But so no, I loved Bull Rush. It is, like I said, it's holding the top spot of my reads for the year of 2024 right now. Fully disclosing, I did beta read this, so I am slightly biased and have a emotional tie to it, but I still stand by the book, and I loved it, and our
mics just died, but we're going to finish out the episode anyway.
Okay.
So if our audio just changed, that's why, but we're going to keep going, folks. No, do you think anything will beat it?
No, I don't. One thing, I guess, just to really quickly go back to Bull Rush on before we fully move on to the next one. I don't think anything is going to beat it, but at the end of Bull Rush, we meet two characters by the name of Charlotte and Hudson, and they are from Lords of Misrule, which is a novella, a Why Choose novella that Maggie
I do want to read it.
Put out, and that was actually my very first Maggie book that I read last December, and there is a full-length novel, Thick as Thieves, coming for them to be determined.
The cover's beautiful.
So beautiful, but it was just it was just mind-boggling to me how her worlds are all the same and connected and how they intercross, and I just really loved it. So if you're wondering who the hell Charlotte and Hudson were, you can go read Lords of Misrule.
That's on my list. That is a why choose that is on my list.
No crossing.
No,
Rowan and Finn.
Still good.
That one I was struggling to if I wanted to read it or not because I have a Finn.
Yep. We try not to read our children's name just because we know it doesn't have to be weird, but it's just a personal preference.
I've heard it a lot, though, that a lot of people struggle to read books that their children's names are the MMC or FMC.
I'm lucky because I don't come across mine that often, except for that one that everyone loves.
That one that everyone loves that I think you would love.
I haven't read it yet, and I'm not saying it because I don't want to get bullied. Hi. No. I'll give my disclaimer. I am currently working for Elliott Rose. I love her. She's delicious, as she would say in my voice notes. She's literally wonderful. Love her, 10 out of 10. And boy, oh boy, does she know how to write a fucking cowboy. I feel like this is also more along the lines of like that small town dark taboo-esque. It's not really dark, but it's darker than any other small town cult. Daddy Colton. Lord help us all. And Layla. Those are our two characters here. And holy bananas, you're actually...
I am reading it right now.
She is reading it right now. I read it out of order. So I beta read and did a content pool for Braving the Storm. Oh, I know we were talking about it earlier, but holy free use bananas. Everything under the sun is a green go kink. Hot. So then I had to go back and read Colt, and this is a damn good series.
I am thoroughly impressed.
I want your thoughts right now since you're like actively reading it. You're about 70% in.
Yep. And it's one of those, this is the first book this month that I've read because I wanted to read it.
Yep. And not because it's already been out, obviously. Yes. Braving the Storm. Oh, just so everyone knows, Braving the Storm comes out November 15th. So you do still have time. I think maybe 2 or 3 days after this that it's coming out.
You can do it. But so I've had it on my radar. I have had so many people tell me, Brittany, this book is for you. This has got everything you love in it. You're going to eat it up. And everyone knows me so well. Yep. And I am loving it and eating it up.
Especially because this is like some of the tropes are... This is an age gap I love, and it's 100% supporting because everything took place over legal age.
So it's like an 18-year age gap, I think.
But Colton Wilder runs Devil's Peak Ranch. He does horse training and all these things. And what happens when you get snowed in a little mountain town with your twice age gap ex-boyfriend's father? That's what it is, folks. This is Layla's ex-boyfriend's dad, and I fucking love that trope. I've read it multiple times now. Eat it up. It's one of like my age gap like exceptions where like he has to be much older than you if your boyfriend was the same age or whatever. So I don't know, there's just something about a dad understanding that their son's a little piece of shit and that they can do better by that girl. I don't know why that's so hot to me.
It's so hot.
I eat it up every time. And Colton Wilder, who literally is just hereby forever known as Daddy Colt, is literally, he's such a daddy. I feel like sometimes you get the daddy and you're like, no, like it worked, but it wasn't. Nope. I feel like there is no better daddy except Daddy Colt. I'm obsessed.
If it wasn't in this book, I would have been so disappointed because it fits so perfectly.
Right? How are you liking Layla?
I'm loving her.
Because I met her second, so obviously it was more off page when I met her first. Yeah. Not that I didn't like her, I just was, when I went back, I really liked her.
I really like her. I feel like she's trying to like protect herself.
But also she's trying not to be a good girl. She's always been just this good girl, not really a stick in the mud, but very like on the straight and narrow.
She has reasons of why she wants to be that way because of how she was raised in that environment and wanting to not repeat history and things like that. And she feels, I don't know if obligated's the right way with taking care of her aunt, but she wants to take care of her aunt and be there.
I think it's kind of both, honestly. Yeah. She feels the pressure of knowing that she's supposed to be doing that and wanting to do that.
So she's trying to be responsible and do everything how she's supposed to, but yet she keeps running into roadblocks and issues. And that girl just
she's resilient.
She is. She just she like keeps. What's that phrase? Like she pulls up her bootstraps and just like goes to work.
Keeps
and she
on
does it. She keeps
trucking.
moving forward. And I really think that Elliott did a good job of showing her mental health struggles and her panic attacks.
The panic attacks I thought she completely nailed, because as someone who has panic attacks and like has like panic attack medication, I thought that it was handled very well.
Yes.
And I liked the way Colt helps her.
Yes, like he recognizes what's happening and is doing things to make sure she's safe and taken care of.
That's what I liked the most on him is, and what Mr. Smut Daddy does a good job with me is just to, I feel like when I'm in the panic, that's what I need to know most. And when everyone, you know, you're safe, we're together, everything's fine. I was like, I'm really enjoying you, Daddy Colt. Yes. And your son sucks.
Oh, yes. But I loved, like, there's clearly an attraction the second they meet at the gas station. Like,
I know.
And then they find out that it's the...
Yeah, because they don't know.
They don't know that it's...
Yeah, this isn't like a they...
dad.
Yeah, this isn't like a they know when they're falling anyway. This is they do not know.
Right.
And what do you do when you've already had sparks?
And then you're trying to fight those sparks.
Yeah, because you're like, no, what's wrong?
I can't do this. My son is important. I'm trying to make up to not being there in the past. But I know he's an asshole and a shithead.
His son is
to get
not...
his life together.
No redemption for you.
No, I don't even remember his name. Case?
Cass or something. Yeah.
I think it's Case. But yeah, I am really enjoying them. And then the whole, like, we're going to give into this for just a little bit. And...
Because everything can be temporary if you're snowed in.
Right. When no one can make it up the mountain, what else are you going to do?
I literally love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And the last chapter of that book is the first chapter of Braving the Storm. And it's one of the best meet cutes I've read in a while. Besides X's and O's, because that one is iconic. It's so good. I want to toot my own horn because my thinking cap was on last night or 2 nights ago. And so I texted Elliott Rose and I was like, hey, you need to do this trend that's going on right now because it's literally the exact words and the meet cute of it. And then she did, and it turned really well. It turned out really cute.
Turned out so
I
good.
really liked it. It's 100% book accurate. It just worked out so well. So if you don't follow Elliott on Instagram or TikTok, go follow her as well.
Yeah. So I will be finishing Chasing the Wild tonight.
I'm like tonight after we get off and we do our reading and our nightly wind down.
Yes. And then
you're going to get your arc.
Looking forward to the arc from Luna.
We send out our arcs on Friday, which obviously this is in the past, so it should be out roughly around the time this episode. I think it's the same week.
Yeah. So I am really looking forward to that. And then I'm looking forward to going to her Y Choots with Noir Moon.
Is also, I was going to say, I don't know what's going on with me. I'm not sure, but I'm entering into a little bit of a Y Choose phase because I really would like to read her Y Choose. Once again, Paisley said that she got to read the pre-novella, Noir Moon, and she had to go take a walk after. So I would also like to have to go take a walk after.
Sounds right up my alley.
I'm very excited. Plus, I love fantasy. I'm ready for more fantasy world. I took a break for a little while, I feel like, over the summer. So I'm ready to do talk. I'm ready to do that. Comfort reads, all of the above. So good. She's amazing too. She's from New Zealand and I just love her accent and I love all of her funny phrases. Not like in a mean way, she's way cooler.
I have just started sliding into her DMs. We have been following each other for a bit. I think she started following when the podcast came out and everything, which was
she will be on a podcast episode, but we have to figure out logistics.
Yeah.
Because when it's like 5 when it's like 5 p.m. here, it's like 10 a.m. the next day there. She's in the future. So
but I was like, hey.
Hi.
I'm reading this.
We love you, and
you're doing really good.
Every episode for the past 4 episodes, we've talked about her because she's just the best.
She is.
Love her, love her, love her. You gonna wrap it up with the cowboy that started it all for you?
Yes. Which last episode I did misspeak, but this is the cowboy that started it all, you guys. And we're gonna speak to the masses here when we talk about Daddy Cade. Do we tell the people?
Okay, I'll just tell the people. This is no hate. It's not hate.
This is Heartless by Elsie Silver.
Yes. This is Heartless by Elsie Silver, and I am not hating on Elsie Silver. Literary botanicals, do not even text me. I don't want to fucking hear it. I stopped after Cade. I have never finished this series, and I'm not blaming anybody else. It's not like a book was bad. None of that happened. It got so hyped up on TikTok when I first was starting TikTok that there is literally no way, still in my mind to this day, that there is ever a chance that that this series is the best series I'm going to read. I'm not saying it's not a 5-star series. I'm not saying it's not good. I loved the first 2 books. If I'm being honest, I liked book 1 a lot. I don't know why. I loved him. He has long hair, gross. Still liked it. I'm not saying he's bad, but I feel like people hold Cade in the highest of high regard standards for cowboy and single dad.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to get that from Father Lib. I'm not saying that it's bad. I think I
will get that from me.
I think I rated it 5 stars, but I have never kept going. So I never say the series name right. I genuinely cannot remember the series name title.
And now I really struggle.
It's called Chestnut Ridge.
No.
It's called Chestnut Springs. It's called Chestnut Springs. There's a lot of ridges, though.
In your defense, there are, yes.
In a lot of different communities of cowboy land. It's called Chestnut Springs. I haven't finished it. It is one of our best friends. Like, she's going to freak out if she doesn't get the Fairy Loot special editions. Ava. Like, she needs it. I know people love it.
Yes.
And that is why I'm glad that Sister Britt has read all of it and
I've
can
read them all.
attest.
Yes. So Daddy Cade is my number 1 ranking of the series. Him and Willa. They're one of my power couples.
She's fucking feisty and hilarious.
I love that ginger so much.
She's
oh my
so
God.
funny.
Another meet cute that I absolutely love with the underwear in the coffee shop.
Yep. Well, why don't you just give those back?
Well,
that's what I'm saying. I know I rated it 5 stars. I'm not saying it's a bad book in any way. It just, I've read too many.
I mean, he's like the dark.
He's one of the OG
broody,
cowboys. I am giving
single
it to
dad.
him. I feel
cowboy.
like he put cowboys on the map, low key.
Yeah. He was like the first single dad that I really read because I had read Welcome to the Dark Side before, obviously, but I did not count that as a single dad because the kids are not children.
Yeah, and they're like
adults.
Yeah, especially because his child's my favorite book.
Right. So I don't consider that really a single dad. But this one truly like takes what I think of when I think of my first single dad, and I loved it. Little Luke, he was so cute. There are so many scenes like the hot tub scene.
I mean, I love a good nanny plot as well. You can't go wrong with a single dad nanny.
Single dad nanny does hit.
She's funny. She's feisty. She does not give 2 shits and will give it back to him at any point.
Yes.
Her little short
banter,
shorts.
Like, I know banter gets thrown around a lot.
But this has real banter.
Real banter.
Her little short shorts, hysterical.
Yes.
He can't think straight.
We get one of my favorite microtropes where he jizzes in his pants.
Yep. That wasn't even on your radar, though, when you read it. You just read it and was like, oh, that's good. Yep. And then you kept it moving. So it's fun to come back and realize.
And now I'm just like, oh my God, that was in there. But as much as I love that, and I just said that is my favorite microtrope, my favorite scene in this whole entire book is the birthday party scene.
Mine too. And if there's any time I have genuinely, I mean, like, that is 100% what I would do, even though I know people be like, no, you wouldn't, you're nice, and you're a 9, and you wouldn't do that. If you fuck with my kid, I'm going to push your kid into the pool. He's going to be fine. I don't play those games. She deserved that. I remember screaming, standing up, cheering, being like,
I was so proud of Willa.
The Mama Bear
came right out, and I was like, yes.
And she's literally like, whoop. She's like, it was just a hip check. And the fact that she walks away, turns her back on it, baller. The kid's fine, number 1.
Yes.
He knew how to swim. But don't fuck with my kid.
I loved it.
That's my favorite part in the book too. There are moments I love. Like, there are some good spicy scenes, obviously.
And I love too how, like, we just said how Willa is this like strong, fierce, giving it back FMC, but then she also has those moments of insecurity and vulnerability. Yeah. And he like is gonna teach her in the kitchen that like she needs to knock that shit off, and
because she's Willa and no one compares to her.
Yes.
It's good. It's 5 stars.
And this is one of those books where
covers.
There's an accidental pregnancy.
Yeah.
I am A-okay with it.
Because towards the end.
Because it's towards the end.
Yeah, I agree. I honestly forget it's accidental pregnancy because it's at the end. So I like to read mine about, the whole time. But it's good. He's good. I like all the character art for them. There's my favorite character art.
Yes. But I think I am ready to do a reread of this, but on audio.
Oh, I haven't
done the audio yet.
I did the first 2 on audio. I think I have the whole series on audio. So for your listening pleasure.
I can just use that. Okay, great. All right, how are we ending the episode here?
We are going to wrap with my favorite read of the year. The best cowboy romance I have ever fucking read. I can't even believe it. Genuinely, I'm shocked, gagged, everything under the sun. I feel like I've been telling everyone, and I might have said it on here, I feel like for me, like soul changing moments happen in fantasy because they're just so otherworldly and they're so epic. There's so much on the line that like you have no choice but your soul to change. I have never had a small town book change my soul until Crossroads, and I keep I giggle about it because I read it and I was like, there's no way that's the #1 read of the year. Like, as in I just so casually read it because I read anything by Devney Perry. This is like the probably smut like bookbinding style because Devney bookbinds and I do as well. So I was really excited to get this cover. Holy shit, this is literally this is Devney's best work to date. Without a doubt, Infinity Stars. Yeah, that's right. Infinity Stars. I'm going to talk about book 1, obviously. But then she came out with book 2, also Infinity Stars. And then I bawled my eyes out because I got on Facebook and she said, I just wanted to let you guys know that this is a duet. I'm actually, what the fuck do you mean, Devney Perry? I don't know what your middle name is. What do you actually mean? That I just gave you the first books ever from you, Infinity Stars, that are both in the same series, and I was really excited to keep going, and then you said that this is just a completed duet of perfect infinityness. Rude.
It's perfection.
It is perfection, and she didn't want to fuck with perfection, so it's
Gotta
incredible.
Respect that.
I do want to say, this is infinity, and this is infinity, but this is infinity plus. This is infinity plus. This is the best book I have ever read by Devney. This is my #1 read of the year.
Which is Crossroads.
Crossroads. Book 1, Crossroads, the purple cover is without a doubt everything. And it follows West Haven, who works on, I can't even remember the name of the ranch originally, but what is Haven River Ranch, with his brother Jax and their dad, who I can't remember his name, Mr. Haven. And Mr. Haven has ran this ranch into the ground. They are fucking bankrupt. Bad, folks. Absolutely, without a doubt. Like, they're going under. He knows that, and he's trying to figure out, Mr. Haven, how to fix the problem without getting the boys involved. Then you cut to India Keller. She has been visiting the ranch her like whole life. Her mom and dad, one of them her dad is sick. They need a getaway because he's a billionaire businessman. And so every year for 2 weeks from when she was like 9, they have gone to Haver River Ranch, but when it was a different name, something really stupid, like Wild Dog Days, like something fucking hick. And so while she's there, she obviously meets West, and they are growing up together for these 2 weeks in the summer, and they are falling in love, folks. They are young and in love, but life happens and they keep growing, but she turns 23 and they are still going every year. But a lot happens for boys apparently at 23, because fuck you for a minute, West. You ripped her heart out, you dumb whore. What are you even doing? Because you had pussy around you for a whole year and you couldn't even give her 2 weeks. I was angry for a minute, folks. And she decided not to come back. She said, okay, well, I've been here since I was like 9 until now 23, and you just ripped my heart out, and I love you, and it's not going to work out. So now it's been like 10 years, and Mr. Haven sold the ranch to India because they knew that they had billions of dollars, that she would take care of it. This was her home, her sanctuary. She loved this place. But that was done without anyone's knowledge. And it's West. West is running this mostly. And so this was done without his knowledge, without anything. And India shows up, and Mr. Haven makes India tell them that she is now the owner of it. So you guys can all guess how very mean words come out of this man's mouth. Why I love him, obviously. He's not nice. He's very pissed off, and he is now trying to grapple with the fact that the woman that he loved now owns his whole life. But what he doesn't know is there are contracts and things put in place, and she's only here temporarily. No one's to know that she's here temporarily, but they're falling in love, so it's epic second chance. But it is India. It is India Keller who's going to change you're going to fall in love with West Haven, because he's literally one of the best book boyfriends I have ever read. Without a doubt, he is so perfect. But what changed my soul was India and her relationship with her dad, and this whole life and world that she is doing and comprehending and learning how to do while she's on this ranch alone, because her family's not there with her. Like, she had to go alone when she bought it. And there's a moment on a hill with the willow tree and a phone call. And I have about 12 pictures from my best friend all sending me pictures of them bawling reading it, because it's not like it's a whodunit. It's just, there's a very pivotal moment where you are realizing information in this book that will change your soul. And that's where you're like, holy shit, this is the best book I've ever read. And everyone keeps coming back like 5 stars. Like Jordan Reed's read it, 5 stars. She sent me crying last night. Our best friend Rebecca just read it. She's already moved on to Sunlight. They both have. But it's so good. And then you're thinking, okay, well, clearly, like, I do think Crossroads is 2% better, 0.2% better. But then you think it literally can't be as good. And you get Sunlight. And I think I ugly cried harder in this. I actually have a viral thread going around right now that's like, thank you, my book was 5 stars. And it's me epically sobbing
Tears
over
rolling
Sunlight. This is accidental pregnancy. She's rolling through town. Jax is the younger brother who helps at the ranch, but he's more of like a laid back guy who does like the trail rides and this and that. And this is 2 people trying to figure out how to parent and deal with this pregnancy when they are literally strangers, and they didn't mean for it to happen. Like, I know it's clear, like it's accidental, but like this was, they wrapped it, they still tapped it, but like, hi, the Haven, he got a swimmer through.
It's a miracle.
And so it's a accidental pregnancy that Sister Britt will love. She will have no problems with it. So there's no third act breakup. There's no craziness. I mean, I do think that there are just like the random moments where they are strangers trying to figure out like, well, this is how I think and this is how I think. And then they talk about it and figure it out. He's clearly a cowboy, but it's hard not to like love him. He gives me very much Sandman vibes. Like he knows he has to step up to the plate when he never thought he would be a dad. Holy shit. I bawled my eyes out. Like, I cried during this. But ugly Kim K lost her earring in the ocean cried.
Hey, I was still watching TV at that point. I know.
Were you? Yeah. I was ugly crying just because it is genuinely one of the best accidental pregnancies I've ever read. It is beautiful. Devney like really stepped her game up, I think, with this series. It's not like you're reading it and you're like, that's not Devney Perry. It's like you're reading it and you're like, holy shit, Devney Perry went to heaven and wrote 2 books and now it's back.
And I am excited for these 2. These 2 I am reading.
These were pleasure reads, I mean, I do think I got the ALC for Sunlight, but not that it matters, but I got denied because she's too popular, which is fine. But so this was a pleasure read that I picked up, or maybe I got an arc, I can't remember, but it wasn't like I was picking it up expecting it to be my favorite book of her of all time. I was picking it up because I read literally everything Devney writes. Yeah. Every last thing except one little series that I'm not going to finish, which is fine, because I don't really like football anyway. I read it. So to pick it up and be like, holy shit, I just read number 1, the best book I've ever read by her, and it's the top book of the year. And I hardly ever declare book husbands, but I dare say that he is a book husband, and that list hardly ever gets updated.
That's a bold statement, you guys.
Then you come back with accidental pregnancy, like literal perfection. Like, I can't wait for Brittany to read this because I'm
excited to have another one that I have on my list that I actually like.
I get very excited to find accidental because I read all kinds, because I like Secret Baby and everything in between, but I get excited to find the ones that I know that you'll like. And this being Devney, this is one I'll bully her in. I'm gonna make her start with this, even though it's new, like, but it's complete. So I'm like, start with
high though, starting Devney with these 2.
But then go down, but then I think you go to Calamity, and you'll be just fine because the next accidental pregnancy I said you like is in Calamity. So 10 out of 10. A million out of a million. Like, I know we recommend a lot of books. I recommend a lot of books. But wouldn't you say this is probably the hardest I've read for a small town besides Lena?
100%.
Even out of Devney. I can't, like, it shocked me. Like, I know I just literally said it, but I can't emphasize enough that I picked it up, like, just because Devney wrote it. And so when it changed my whole soul, I was like, holy shit, we just entered into the craziest time paradox of Devney Perry that's ever existed. I also think these are my favorite covers by her.
They're really pretty.
That she's ever done. I like that we have like the solid spines. I don't know. It's literal perfection. I could do a whole 2-hour episode just about Crossroads and how perfect it is in every moment in between.
Maybe after I read it, we can schedule that.
Yeah, maybe we probably will have to do a Devney episode at some point because it just makes sense for me to have it out there. Just like it would make sense for you to have like a full Hannah episode and things like that because we just have read all of them.
Yep.
But that ended up being, this will be about 2 hours, which, I mean, it's fine, but this is some good Cowboys. I mean, everyone we have listed is 5 stars, infinity stars. We listed nothing that wasn't clearly on our radar.
Yeah,
I mean, especially
I have enjoyed every single one that I've read and recommended.
Especially for me, because this is literally not even 1% of the Cowboy books I've read. I did a TikTok one time that was like, ha ha ha, again, remember?
Yes.
And every time I had to put like 5 instead of 1 because I've just read so many Cowboys. So Cowboy Part 2 probably won't come for a couple months, but I bet you we do another one because I'm going to keep reading them.
Yep.
I'm going to talk about these ones again in Part 2 just so they can have their time in spotlight. But I think that's going to be it. I think that was amazing.
That was a good episode.
I love Cowboys. Like, clearly, I love Cowboys. I love Small Town. And I can't wait for that episode because they're different, folks. They're different. And if you think that you're going to see any of these again in Small Town Land, you're wrong.
Think again.
Because that's how many small towns we've all read. I'm even going to not pick a single Lena one because that's how many small town books I've read.
Watch out.
Can you do that? Not in a mean way, but like... now that I'm excited.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Until next time, I'm your host, Father Lib.
And I am your co-host, Sister Britt.
And this was amazing. YeeHaw! Peace and blessings!